The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93
Now I thought I'd share some of my favorite worst summer job stories from you guys. Here we go. I spent a summer working at Abercrombie. When I asked my manager why I was always scheduled for stockroom shifts, he said, well, you don't have what I call a front-of-store face. My first summer job was to dress as the Blimpie Bear and wave at traffic. Then the competitor mascot, a giant pancake, came out bothering me, so a bunch of people watched a bear and a pancake fight in traffic. When I was 10, my grandfather gave me $10 to be a human scarecrow on his farm. I stood there in the sun shouting at birds for an hour until my mom yelled at him.
This will no doubt be the best summer of our entire lives.
I proclaim this the summer of joy!
In honor of this, I'll be hosting the rest of the show wearing short shorts. Not just short shorts, Daisy Dukes. Andy, what are you going to be wearing?
I've already started chafing.
There's just 4 things I want to do this summer.
There are 4 things I want to do this summer, but they're roommates, so it's tricky.
It's showtime!
Man, can you even believe this?
Believe that.
Can you even wrap your head around this Thursday thing we've got going here, Cubby? It's Thursday, it's 93X Rock, it's early in the morning. Welcome to the show, everyone.
It's really weird being able to see your arms, Josh. I'm not going to lie. It's throwing me off.
I owe you all an apology. Well, you know what? Actually, I have to apologize to your significant others because I'm confusing you this morning.
Yeah, you really are. I'm kind of turned on right now.
Everybody's a little amorous.
Mm-hmm. The tension is palpable, as they would say.
I am not wearing a hoodie for the first time in several years.
It's funny that you brought that up right away, Ashley, because 5 minutes ago, we were having a conversation off air, Josh and I, and it dawned on me as I was looking across the board at him, and I said, Jesus Christ, I think this is the first time I've seen you without a top layer on in years.
Yeah, I usually do wear something like that. I worry, though.
You've shed your regular North Face jacket that you wear almost every day, no matter the time of year. You've shed it down to a T-shirt this morning because of the heat in the building.
It's crazy hot in here, and everything's wet once again.
Oh.
Everything gets wet over here.
It's so wet over here, too, but it's cold.
It's cold there?
Yeah.
Cold. Let's swap studios.
It's 69 degrees in here right now.
I'll take that. Can I ask you guys a question?
Go right ahead.
Be honest, I'm self-conscious about something.
Is it about your body? Because we know everything now.
It is about my body.
Go right ahead.
I'm not too tan, am I? I think I'm whiter than the shirt that Dana's wearing.
I've seen you wear more clothing in 90-degree weather than you're wearing right now.
Yeah, true.
It's a different kind of a look.
It's uncomfortable.
It's going to take some getting used to.
Yeah, it's really throwing me off.
That's awesome that it's affecting your days.
Well, it just has been really maybe a decade since I've seen you sit or stand or anywhere in just a T-shirt.
All right, I'm putting my hoodie back on.
No, don't. You look great, dude.
I kind of like it, yeah.
Put it back on.
Does it look okay?
No.
Yeah, I like that I could see your tattoo.
Your tattoo, yeah.
Too.
He's got tattoos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, this one has the kid's name on it because I'm not a good parent. And I forget, so sometimes I have to look down and be, which one are you?
Slide it up, yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of go in birth order here.
You know what, dude? Your pipes are still looking pretty good.
Oh, that's nice of you to say.
Hey, did I tell you when a couple weeks ago when Jordan Parisi was in town? You know, he stopped by the show. What was that, 2 weeks ago or something?
Yeah, I got his Parisi shirt on right now.
Oh, you are wearing a Jordan Parisi T-shirt. When Jordan was in town, he stopped by the program. Hopefully our listeners who have enjoyed Jordan on this program over the years, hopefully they were able to listen on the day that he was here. It was great to see him again. We hadn't seen him in years. So, but a couple days after he was on the show, I met up with him and his fiance and had a couple of beers. Hooked up Summers, sat down, and I always wear a hoodie here on the program too because it's so friggin' cold in these studios, cold and damp like we were just describing. This place is a trash barrel. I always wear a hoodie too. Sometimes, if it's extraordinarily warm, I'll get down to the sleeveless, and you guys have seen me endless times in sleeveless. So Jordan hadn't been here in a couple of years. We haven't seen him in a couple of years, whatever it was, Jordan Parisi. When he made his appearance on the show, I was wearing a hoodie. When I went to meet he and his fiancée for a couple of beers, I just showed up in a sleeveless. So Jordan didn't know, because of the hoodie I was wearing, I have lost some weight. I've lost quite a bit of weight.
You have.
Since
over 20 pounds, right?
Something like that, over 20 pounds. So Jordan hadn't seen me with just a sleeveless on in a couple of years. And when I walked into the bar to meet he and his fiancée, and I sat down, I'd never heard this said out loud before. Jordan said, "When'd you get so chiz, bro?"
And that's coming from one of the most chiz guys I know.
Well, first off, I am not chiz. But I laughed my balls off. I said, well, thank you for referring to me as chiz. But all this really is missing sugar weight is all it is. There's nothing chiz about this scene. But good for you, Josh. Seeing you in a T-shirt for the first time in years, and you look great.
Oh, it's really nice of you guys to say.
Absolutely.
Waffle, you haven't complimented me, but that,
Oh, dude, you're always swole.
Yeah, look at you.
I like to see your calves.
I do wear shorts as much as possible.
Let's keep this kind of slope going. Let's say maybe tomorrow a tank top, and then maybe like Conan was talking about in the open, maybe some Daisy Dukes come Monday. Yeah.
This is a great text. This is a current event joke. I'm assuming everyone's heard this story. Oh, did you take off your North Face jacket? Are you going to rescue that submarine? With all my adventures? So these poor guys, right, stuck, trying to go down and look at the Titanic, lost in the ocean.
That big aluminum can. Not big aluminum can. It's a small aluminum can.
Well, it's funny, it's a terrible thing, and unfortunately, sounds like they're predicting they're going to run out of oxygen here in 13 minutes, right?
Oh, wow.
Online,
son of a bitch.
Some of the biggest arguments I've seen is it's not a submarine, it's a submersible.
I know.
Oh my God.
They're just, the semantics are bothering people, not the fact that there's a few folks that might not make it. Doesn't sound good.
Can we just stop? Stop nitpicking each other to death around here.
I saw my favorite tweet about that submarine thing yesterday.
I'm sorry, Ashley. Actually, submersible.
Sorry. But it said, it really got me. It said, if you told me my boyfriend was on the submarine and his ex was there, I would find that thing in 2 minutes.
What an incredible story. What a horrible.
How terrifying.
Yeah.
I had no idea until last night. A friend of mine said, have you heard this submarine thing? And I didn't know what the hell they were. Good Lord.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. It's so terrifying. Just dark.
Yeah, I mean, they hear the knocking sounds, right? They say that's encouraging.
That's crazy.
But they were saying this morning, here's the deal. Even if we find them, it's going to take us a while to get them up.
That's rough. That's a rough way to go.
Let's get back talking about Josh. It is a coincidence that you're here, Josh, because I was just thinking about you. I was just reading something or another that made me think of you, Josh. It was an article titled "How to Make Love to a Man for the Very First Time." No, it was it was an article about the young people just getting out of college, and how clueless they are when it comes to certain things. And there's a portion of the article that reminded me of you. Should I go ahead with this?
Please do.
And if you know Cubby, you'll be able to pick out the Joshy part. So the Wall Street Journal just did a story on how clueless a lot of recent college grads are when it comes to working in person. These kids did most of their classes over Zoom during the pandemic, so they haven't had a chance to learn a lot of basic things about working in person, working with other live human beings. Some of this stuff is very basic. So the Wall Street Journal said that major companies have started to offer training sessions on how to talk to people in person And we've read things like this before. For damn sake, what was the story from a couple weeks ago? In Japan, they were teaching young people how to smile.
Yeah. They forgot how to be expressive with their faces.
It's just bizarre that we've gotten to this point, but this isn't news to anybody. A friend of mine, tell me if you agree with this. A friend of mine who does have interactions with young people a lot, she said young people mumble so much that you can't understand. They mumble. And I said, oh, they do? And she said, well, yeah, they don't know how to project their voice like we older people do. And I asked the person, well, why do you think that? Because they only communicate through text.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? I thought
I haven't noticed that.
That made sense to me when I don't have interactions with younger people. You guys do, so I guess you could tell me.
I've kind of noticed that.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't, at least, I mean, I'm not, outside of my kids and their significant others, I'm not really, I haven't noticed anything like that.
Fair enough. You guys would know better than me. So again, major companies have started to offer training sessions on how to talk to people in person. They cover things like eye contact, and listen to this, and how long your pauses should be.
Oh, man.
Doesn't that seem, it seems silly. It seems like that doesn't exist, because I know, like, the article went on to go say something about how they need to pause to give the other person the opportunity to give them your name. You know, like, so I say, hey, I'm Josh, who are you? What's up today? Oh, I forgot to let you say your name. That doesn't happen in real life, does it? At least I've never experienced something like that. No. They can't figure out to pause enough to let the other person answer the question?
How long your pauses should be.
That's so funny.
I mean, does that mean I might run into a teenage kid fresh out of college? Well, I suppose they wouldn't, whatever. A person in their early 20s who just got out of college, and they've only communicated through Zoom meetings and text messages, and they'll just speak to me in one maddeningly long run-on sentence.
Do you think you're good at pauses? Because I'd like to test you on something.
I have been criticized, I guess maybe is the word, because I at times I pause for too long. I don't know if I'm good at it or not. It's just how I come off. It's only natural. I wouldn't
pausing for too long. That's ridiculous. You guys think he does? Let's run a test.
All right, a test on my pauses?
Yeah. This morning, for the first time in a long time in this building, I took my hoodie off. So go ahead and say that I took my hoodie off.
Oh, yeah. And you want to test my pauses?
Yeah.
This morning, for the first time in years, Josh took his hoodie off.
I didn't notice a thing.
Sound normal to me.
Totally natural sentence right there.
Anybody who criticizes that is a dick.
Yeah, that was great.
Another course that companies have started to teach young people who are fresh out of college. Oh, right here, Josh. Yeah, you mentioned this already. Making sure to pause after introducing yourself so the other person has time to say their name. Yes, you covered that already. Oh, and here's the cubby part. They're also teaching these young people common signs someone's trying to end a conversation.
I think I can pick those up.
Trying to, Of course, I'm sure you could. But it reminded me of one of the things I find most endearing about you is that you admittedly have trouble ending conversations. If you are given the space, you will continue to have a conversation with someone until the lights go out.
That's true. And it's not like I don't recognize when a natural ending could occur. It's that I'm not ready for the story to end. I want to hear more.
Oh, what a bizarre, wacky-ass world we live in. So colleges are starting to teach some classes now to students before they get out of school on these various things. Eye contact, pauses. What else did I mention in here? Just how to interact with other live human beings in person. What the F has happened?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to mention other topics. See, that was probably one of my pauses that went on for too long. Other topics include how writing an email is different than a text.
That one's a good one.
Okay.
I would say that, like, my kids do not use email. For example, and businesses do, obviously, with they've got student loans and some important stuff that might come in via email, but they don't know because they don't check it. Email means nothing to them.
Oh, wow.
To the point where I have to say, okay, look for this email. And I have their logins, so do you remember your login? This is what you need. Because they just don't check them.
Okay.
Actually, I work with a guy that doesn't check his email. Now I think about it. But that's because you just don't want to.
I was just thinking, I'm horrible with emails. They will go months without me noticing that they're there. So the young people in your life, they're not so much with the emails, but they probably could text upside down and backwards while in a speeding fighter jet,
Yeah, and I have to just kind of relax a bit about the grammar and punctuation and stuff like that. I get it's an old guy thing, but it does sometimes bother me. Like, why can't we use complete sentences? Or I found out from Ashley, she thought I used to be mad at her when I'd put a period at the end of a sentence.
That one's weird to me because I do that every time.
Yeah, so I still do. When it's Ashley, I try and remember not to put one at the end.
I appreciate it. Yeah, you'll usually throw in like an emoji now. It makes me feel better. Thank you.
Yeah, because I figure I'm going to try and communicate with the way you communicate.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And I remember when you told me this, I thought you were kidding at first, and then you said, no, it's a legit thing. And I had asked my kids, have you heard of this? And they acted like I was a moron for never knowing that was a thing.
I've also heard that just responding to something with like a thumbs up emoji, like got it, that's considered rude too now.
Yeah, I think working with you guys has helped in that aspect because, sometimes there's nothing else to say but a thumbs up.
Yeah, just kind of acknowledge, got you.
I got it. Yep.
Yeah, not like, okay, dude. Okay, it's not that kind of thumb. Whatever you say.
Oh, I will say, though, if my boyfriend just sent me a thumbs up, I'd be like, okay, what's going on? Is somebody in a mood today?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If he does, because he's your age.
Yeah.
So something else that colleges are trying to teach students before they get out so they can, I guess, better blend in with the older folks. Couple more. They're pretty cute. How to chit-chat in an elevator.
I never. Do you guys?
No.
I'll say hi, and then I pretty much look straight ahead, just like a urinal.
If there's a dog in the elevator with me, and obviously they're person, but I will add, that's the only time I'll talk to a person. I'll say, can I pet your dog?
Yeah, you really.
I think you should do that when they don't have a dog with them.
I just got them petting an imaginary dog.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they're stuck on the elevator with you?
Who's a good boy?
Scared.
Who's a good boy?
The only thing I ever do, the only way I ever communicate on an elevator, if I'm, let's say I jump into an elevator, there's 3-4 other people. As we're riding, I like to I tense up my, what do you call these, abdominals?
Yeah.
And then I look at everyone and say, excuse me. And here's something else they're teaching the young people. How jeans with holes might not be seen as work appropriate.
Yeah, my mom taught me that. Anytime I do anything till this day, and it's jean weather, she's like, "You're not wearing your holy jeans, are you?" "No, Mom, no."
That's one of the greatest things about this particular business, occupation, whatever you want to call it. There's no dress code, as far as I know.
Yeah, at least not for the programming side.
I can wear my sleeveless T-shirts all over the building. I can wear my flip-flops, and that's nice.
I worked at a station once where they tried to get the host to start dressing a lot nicer. They're like, hey, you never know when a client might come through. You never know when the owner of the station might come through. And I thought, I'm willing to roll the dice on that.
They tried that here, too.
Did they?
For a very short amount of time.
It lasted about 36 hours.
King Nothing Trucker Jesus said his dad texts like an email. I do, too. Yeah, if I do text, it's like an email.
Yeah, I was trying to go complete sentences, punctuation, and that kind of thing.
I've seen a couple viral tweets of parents signing off their text messages. That's my favorite. Like, love, Mom.
Yeah.
I know it's you.
I've got your number saved.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've got a family member where he writes it like an email as far as puts my name in it and then signs at the end who it's from. And
So
also his
cute.
relation to me.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
He says what?
Like cousin.
Yeah, like cousin Jeff.
Oh.
From your cousin Jeff.
I hear you.
From Uncle Timmy.
We've been busting Cubby's chops over here because here he is, sitting in studio in just a T-shirt.
Well, I've got shorts on.
Right.
For now.
Right.
Sure you do.
From the waist up. We almost never get a chance to see you with only one layer on. I'm telling you, even when it's in the 90s, you rarely even get down to a T-shirt. So this is fun. Vintage video game collector Jesus texted in, sent me a picture of a T-shirt. T-shirt on the front says, "I'd flex, but I like this shirt."
That's fun.
That's awesome. I want to find that.
Yeah. Look for that one. And then speaking of work, something else I was just reading. Listen to this. Unhappy at work? A new study says getting married will fix that. Who the hell came up with that nonsense? Hey, I hate my job, but without it, I'll have no income. Will you marry me?
Yeah, I've never met somebody married who didn't like their job. Never once. Can you guys think of anybody? I think everybody I know is miserable at work for the most part, it seems.
Yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everyone who's married?
Married or not.
Married
doesn't
or not.
really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're married or
I
not.
can't see.
Everyone's miserable with their job.
Yeah. And on some days, not every day.
Not every day.
I've never seen that as a cure for that.
If you feel burnt out, get married.
How would that change your work at all?
Well, here's what they say, Smashley. It's great that you asked. Who put this together? The National Research University School of Economics? Well, they sound like a bunch of dopes. Well, a happy marriage can help fight off work-related burnout. Specifically, amongst us dodes. They say men put a large amount of pressure on themselves at work to succeed and keep moving up the ladder. Therefore, in this context, you see what I mean about these people from the National Research University School of Economics? Who talks like that? Therefore, in this context. They say a happy marriage and feeling supported in one's personal life can become critical in preventing burnout in your professional life. Oh, and you know what else? I had something to add to this. Men who are more successful professionally also tended to be more satisfied with their personal relationships. That's an association that did not appear amongst the gals, where you gals are too complicated to fall into such a basic study, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're simple, dumb animals. Happy, sad. You know what I mean? Women are much more intelligent and complicated than that, you know.
I believe it would be more of the other way around. Like, not if your marriage is good, your job is good. But if your job is going well and you're happy with your job, you go home and you're not a complete, crab ass.
Mm-hmm.
So your marriage probably doesn't suffer.
There you effing go.
Also, because Josh said he doesn't know anybody who's happy at their job, And
Maybe that was too much of a statement.
Right,
I clarified that more.
A lot of people.
I more meant like every day. There's still you come in every once in a while. There's somebody you can tell it's just they're not having.
And the study said
married or not.
And the study said, if you're in a happy marriage, I don't know many people are in happy marriages either.
You don't?
I mean, a few, but I know a lot of, like, I was surprised when I got divorced. So many of my friends, sometimes on both sides, came to me and just kind of said, like, God, I really wish I could do what you just did, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that's...
I think coming out of the pandemic, especially people were kind of getting on each other's nerves, but I had friends that were just like, God, because of different reasons, kids, money, whatever. They're like, God, I really wish I could just have a clean break like you just had.
Josh, happy marriages? Let me tell you something. You're it, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I know a few people that are in happy marriages.
You are it. That's if I had to make a list, it would say Cubby's old lady, end of list.
Well, if that's the case, I feel very lucky.
I will say, Josh, I've told people, like, I want a marriage like you and your wife.
I want a marriage like Josh and his wife, too, only with a lot more drinking.
And more than just one woman.
A lot more drinking, more than one woman, and a lot less kids.
Well, it's funny, the people that are texting in on saying, no, it's true, but they're saying that because they're just excited to get away from their wives and their kids, have a place to go bitch about them, things like that. So I don't know that proves the point or not. Work. I'm happy at work because I'm not at home.
Mm-hmm. Dice had this great bit on one of his comedy albums where he talks about, isn't it great when you're heading off to work? And maybe you had to hear the bit. Maybe it had to be delivered by Dice, but I got a big kick out of it. He said, when you're married, there's nothing better than leaving for work. You get in your car. This is the way he put it. You get in your car and you see your significant other through the window and you say, F you, I'm out of here. F you, I'm out of here.
So now I'm fascinated now. I'm thinking about these people that came up to you, Dana. How many of those people that said they wish they could get out got out since then? 'Cause how long have you been divorced?
About 2 years, and a little over 2 years now.
A little over 2 years. And how long has your wife had her new boobs?
Oh,
about a year and a half.
Year and a half. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Uh-huh.
Have any of them?
Yeah, a couple of them have. A couple of them gone through with it.
You're probably that age where divorces are starting to kind of kick in, huh?
Yeah, we're at that age where everybody's either been married once or working towards their second marriage.
Another great marriage story, Josh. we got to take a break here in a minute, but the husband side of this
couple.
Thank you. I don't think you've ever met the wife, but the husband half of this couple is a good buddy of mine. We've gone to a couple of acid rock concerts together. This is one of my favorite stories about this couple. This is how they are every effing day, and it's not good, but it's great entertainment for the rest of us. True story. My buddy is driving home from work. He's on the street that he lives on with the wife. How does a grown person say that? He's in his neighborhood.
Yep.
He's driving towards the house. At the same time, his wife is leaving the house in their other vehicle. She's off to get her first ultrasound for their first baby.
Exciting.
Right? So and he was aware of this. He knew she would be the same time he's coming home from work. She's going to be driving off to go get an ultrasound to get a look at their first baby. And as she's passing him, she's waving, "Bye, I'm off to the ultrasound." What does he do? Gives her the finger.
It's perfect.
Yeah. F you, I'm out of here kind of a thing. It's a beautiful thing. They have a good time. All right, what is it? What did I say earlier? It's Thursday. It's the day after Wapple's birthday. It's the first day in decades that Josh is in only a T-shirt. It's going to be a lot of laughs. We'll take a break and be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Being caught shoplifting is embarrassing, especially if you've just snatched embarrassing items. Josh and I were both caught shoplifting when we were young.
Yeah, and mine was for an embarrassing item.
Oh, I thought
That's why I didn't want to buy it.
You were busted for shoplifting a flamethrower, wasn't it, Josh?
2 flamethrowers.
2 flamethrowers. I was 17 or 18, maybe even younger than that. I was caught by a mall security guard trying to steal a plush California, how do you say it?
California?
I was caught trying to steal a plush California raisin doll.
Boy, those were so cool.
Totally stupid what I did. I mean, I wasn't even a California raisin fan. But I thought it would be funny to have this dumb stuffed animal character raisin thing. We were walking through a store at the mall. I stuffed it in my bag, and short mall security pounced on me. You know what was going through my mind, I think, at the time, Josh? If you remember Tommy Lee, when he was drumming for Motley Crue, do you remember he always had a stuffed animal on his drum kit? Do you remember what stuffed animal it was?
Was it animal?
It was Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse?
I believe.
Oh, then I don't remember that at all.
You can look that up. I believe he always
was
had
animal.
I'm pretty sure it was Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, maybe.
And at the time, I was in a piss-poor high school rock band, and I was the drummer, and I think I was planning to put this stuffed California raisin on my $35 drum kit, when we would play shows at the strip mall. So I got caught. Nothing came of it. I mean, a security officer pounced on me, told me that the police would be in contact with me, and nothing. They never called. I got lucky, I guess.
Yeah, I just got a call from the cops. They're like, yeah, we saw you shoplifting. Was that you? And I admitted it. Now I'm an idiot. Wait, was it this? Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was me.
You could have just said, hell, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry. I don't speak a lick of English.
And it wasn't two flamethrowers that you shoplifted. For folks who are new to the program, I know this is difficult for you to talk about because you get a lot of ball busting going on. What did you shoplift?
A CD by the artist Seal.
Seal.
Yeah. Heidi Klum's ex.
Because he had the big hit single, A Kiss from, I can't remember.
A
Rose.
From the Batman Forever soundtrack.
And I was embarrassed to purchase it. Didn't intend to steal it, and I just ended up doing it because I was too nervous to walk up to the counter and admit that I wanted that CD. Never listened to it. I couldn't. The guilt wouldn't let me.
Yeah. Isn't that something? You shoplifted to avoid embarrassment.
Yeah, and then the Burnsville cops call. Yeah, we're pretty sure we got you as the guy who did it. Like, well, you're only sure because it's true.
Yeah.
Tommy,
yes, Wapple?
Tommy Lee does have Mighty Mouse on his drum kit.
Yeah.
And his first tattoo was actually a Mighty Mouse tattoo.
Nice work, son. So, did the cops claim they had video of you doing this, Josh? How were they so sure that you pulled off
this? They said somebody saw me.
Someone saw you.
Yeah.
They saw you pull off this heist. Okay. Here's a moron in Florida. And what's even more embarrassing for this effing guy is that he's 46 F me running years old. He's no kid. And he's still operating like this. This guy was arrested for trying to take several strange products. They call it here in the story. I don't think they're that strange, but he was trying to steal products from a Target store down there in Florida. The story says here now then that the cops responded to a call about a theft at Target. And once they showed up, they found this 46-year-old by the name of David Romero. He was trying to back his motor vehicle out of a parking spot there at Target, but they stopped him. And they looked him up. They had SCMODs. The cops had the state, county, municipal offender data systems. They had SCMODs, and they looked him up. There was a warrant out for his arrest for some other offense. So they pulled him out of the car. And when they got him out the car, a pink vibrator fell out of his pants. He had stolen the vibrator from Target.
You know, when I was on the force, the thin red line, a.k.a. asset protection at Target.
Yes.
We sold, Target sold condoms, but none of the sex toys and stuff that you get to find today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got a little bit of everything now.
That's what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be too embarrassed to go down that aisle. I did by accident when I was looking for Metamucil.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't get things right in my gut.
You went down the condom or the sex toy aisle?
Yeah, all in one.
They're all in one?
Yeah. I had to push the cart a little faster to get through there.
Oh, that badass is going down the condom. Oh, no, you just get Metamucil.
I'd be embarrassed to buy that kind of thing.
Self-checkout, baby.
Did you recognize any products from your wife's top drawer?
No.
It was pretty,
she doesn't have any of that.
It was pretty funny. This weekend, we went to Target, and we saw a kid. He had some flowers in his hand, and then he went down the condom aisle. He looked around a little bit, saw no one was looking at him, grabbed some condoms, and walked out.
Oh, what a guy.
He's going to have a good day.
What a guy.
Wolfpack Softball Jesus texted in and said, didn't the judge also tell you had nice taste? Yes, he did on the Seal CD. He's like, hey, well, I can tell you, at least you got good taste in music. I love that CD.
Was it like a young, cool judge, or was he like the old judge?
Oh, he was an older guy.
Yeah.
He definitely could have been like my dad's age.
The judge was a SEAL fan.
He was.
Because most judges are into guar. Lucky you didn't get one of those. Speaking of going through drawers, God, this was a tough moment. A couple of years ago, my brother and I went up to our folks' place, elderly, the both of them. We specifically had to help move some dressers around. The old man just physically, he can't do things like that anymore. Can't stay on his feet for too long. So we're in my dad's bedroom. My folks sleep in separate rooms like we all should be doing. We're in the old man's room, and we're having to pull drawers out of these dressers and move them around and this or that. And my brother and I got to the top drawer, and we both looked at each other, and I think we were both thinking the same thing. We were thinking, please don't let us find boner pills. We found boner pills.
Oh, no.
So back to this guy who was shoplifting at Target, 46-year-old man. First things first, the vibrator falls out of his pants. A pink vibrator. And in the video from the cops'
body cam?
Nipple cam, what do they call it?
Body cam.
Body cam. In the video, apparently you can watch the pink vibrator vibrating on the ground after it fell out of his pants.
Yeah, and his pants are all the way off in that situation, too. They're down to his ankles.
Oh, Jesus. He also stole condoms, personal lubricant, and several sexual enhancement products is what they call them here. Oh, and a T-shirt. But the vibrator fell out of his pants, and there it was swimming around the parking lot.
Like those little vibrator races.
Yeah.
Why do they call it personal lubricant?
That
versus
crossed my
like
mind too.
Communal? Or just because it's intimate?
Yeah, it's a good
Maybe
question.
they're using it as an intimate lubricant?
Then they should just say intimate lubricant.
Or maybe like just to differentiate that between what you'd put in your car every 5, 6, 7,000 miles.
Yeah.
That kind of lubricant.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
I don't know where they come up with. This Romero guy, he pulled off the old gimmick where this is how it all started. He pulled off the old bit where you go to the checkout counter and pay for some things to try and be less suspicious, but at the same time, he had all these other items hidden, Summers. He's going to have to face the music now. And I would also imagine there's an unlucky lady or two in town who's missing out on a hell of a night of lovemaking.
Yeah, he ruined it.
With all that lube and Jimmy hats. He was ready to let her buck.
Letter Shredder Jesus said he once failed at an attempt to steal a DVD set of The Big Bang Theory. He said the judge laughed and called me a nerd, and that got a nice pop in the courtroom. I had it better than you did then. I had it better.
A good pop. That's what you're looking for. All right, hang on to something. And for those of you who like to travel, maybe get a pen and paper if you're able. Get your passport ready, because I'm about to fire off a rundown of the countries with the largest breast sizes. Where are the boob men here in town?
I consider myself one.
You're a boob man? Text us. Are boobs where it's at? Obviously, emphasis has been placed, fairly or not, on the ass the last decade or so. You can have a face like a gargoyle these days. As long as you have a can the size of a planet, you can go on OnlyFans, and in a week you'll have a mansion. That's how it's been.
It's not that far from the truth.
Are there still straight-up boob fans out there anymore? Cubby says he's one of them.
I think the boobs need to make a comeback.
Here's the deal. You know this, Josh. Boobs were everything in the 80s.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No one even looked at an ass in the 80s. The entire decade, it was all
You didn't have to have one.
And then the 90s started, and Sir Mix-a-Lot dumped that Baby Got Back on us, and everything turned on a dime.
I wonder if it's the Kardashians that really had this thing explode.
I bet they did, yeah.
They're the ones who put it over the top.
It seems like that butts were put on the map because of the Kardashians.
But even before the Kardashians, Baby Got Back. What did MC Hammer talk about? Bumps and a hump or something like that? What was that? I like the girls with the humps and a bump. Was that it? Anybody?
I'm not familiar.
Pumps and a Bump?
Pumps and a Bump, okay.
Pumps and a Bump is the name of a song he had in 94.
Yeah, I believe there was an act called something or another. They sang about the rump shaker. It just became all ass.
Well, the lyrics are pretty good to this. Pumps and a bump, pumps and a bump. We like the girls with the pumps and a bump.
Yeah, that was all over MTV. We used to do cocaine to that song.
Pumps as in like high heels or shoes?
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
Sure.
And the bump of the ass cheeks. I think that's where he was going with that, Josh. All right, again, someone did all the necessary mathematics, and they've put together a rundown of the countries around the world where women have the biggest and the smallest jugs. The story does say that increased breast sizes often occur in countries where obesity is also a problem. All right, well, we'll worry about that some other time. So here we go. Here's the world's top 20 nations based on average cup size. I'll go from 20 all the way to, how do you say, 1. Number 20, Australia. They bring the B cups to the party on average in Australia. And just for the record, the differences here from one country to the next is pretty subtle. Mm-hmm. All right.
I don't think there's, well, I guess there's a couple where a point separates it, but not much.
Not much. So Australia's number 20. So the next time you see an Australian, you can say, hey, I heard you made the top 20 on the largest boobs list, eh? They always end every sentence with A. How's it going, eh?
It is ridiculous. Annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Number 19, Croatia. Number 18, Ireland. When I was in Ireland, I might have had 30 women ask me if I wanted to see their boobs, but I had no idea because I couldn't make out a single word that was said to me while I was there. It was effing maddening.
It is a thick accent, and they seem to speak very quickly.
I was there for 4 or 5 days, never made out a single word that was said to me. Number 17 is New Zealand. Largest average cup sizes around the world. We're going here. We're still in the B cup neighborhood, all right? 16, Turkey. 15. Now we're getting some B's and C's, everybody. And that starts with the country of Denmark.
How big'd your ex go, Dana? Do you know?
Something like a D, I believe.
She went up to, yeah.
Where was she before? I think from a B to a D.
B to a D. I did that in algebra.
Did you? Yeah. Good for you.
We're up to number 14 now, and you'll get B's and C's on average in Finland. We're going to win the greatest hockey game ever and then lose the gold medal game to a bunch of friggin' Finns? You can hear that line in a wonderful HBO documentary on the 1980 U.S. Olympic Hockey Club. It's called Do You Believe in Miracles? It's the real story of the 80 Olympic hockey team. I mean, Miracle, the movie, is great, but Jim Craig didn't really face 85 shots in the third period of the game against us. So,
that was a really good movie, though.
Yeah, it was fun. Kurt Russell was. Number 13 on the biggest average cup size list here around the world, Bulgaria. Ooh, Wapple, wasn't former WWE wrestler Rusev the Bulgarian brute?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, he was.
Happy Rusev Day to everybody.
Oh, yeah,
by the
thank
way.
you.
Oh, yeah.
It is Rusev Day. And then didn't we learn then shortly after they called him the Bulgarian brute, we learned that he really lived in Nashville?
Yep.
Yeah. Number 12 is Poland. Number 11, stupid Russia. Number 10, Canada.
Throw some shrimps on the Barbie.
Right. We made it to number 10, mate. That's what the Canadians are saying. We're number 10, mate. Still B's and C's on average here. Number 9, the Netherlands. Number 8, those big, stubborn Swedes. Number 7, Colombia. Number 6, Venezuela. And as many of us know, they've been blessed with much ass in that part of the world as well.
Yeah.
That's going to say, I kind of associate them more with butts than the boobs.
Well, that's, yeah.
I bet they score high on both.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Much ass. Brazil isn't in here anywhere because they're all ass cheeks over there.
Don't they even have a contest?
Of course, the Miss Bum Bum competition. Before I die, I'd like to see that in person. Maybe someday, Cubby, they'll hold it at Medina Ballroom or something. I don't know.
It's possible. They get a lot of big-name acts there.
Yeah. On top of the big bottoms, knocking around at the Miss Bum Bum competition, there's usually a violent fight amongst the contestants during the final round as well.
I like that kind of stuff.
Yes, there's usually a violent screaming and clawing match.
We might see Iron Maiden perform in front of 2 million people in Brazil. We should make that Brazilian trip.
I'll tell you what, we should. We're into the top 5 now. And all the top 5 are hauling around C cups at the least, okay? Number 5, the dumb UK. Number 4, the United States. We didn't medal.
Wow. That surprised me.
We didn't medal, but we're averaging at least C cups around here.
We got a participation trophy there.
Number 3, Iceland.
Oh.
Number 2, never heard of it, Luxembourg. What the hell is this?
Just came out of nowhere.
You don't believe it exists?
I don't. Luxembourg?
They're at new countries every day, it seems like.
They're in Europe.
In Europe?
Yeah, like aren't they like France, Germany-ish, right around there?
Yep.
Luxembourg.
And number 1, are you ready to celebrate Norwegians? Norway has the biggest average cup size. Back up. Here comes Norway.
So they're the only one that scores in the D range, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing...
D?
Yeah, they average in the Ds.
Wow.
Dana, do you like Ds?
What's that?
Do you like Ds?
Oh, I love D's,
How
Josh.
about D's? No!
God dang it!
Be right back on the half. Just kidding, Waffle.
So you want a Venezuelan lady? If you want both departments.
The butt and the boobs?
Yeah. That's what I took from that survey.
You friggin' narrowed that down quite well.
Yep.
Quite well, my son.
I took notes. Anyone want some?
Wapple, the game within the game.
Wapple and I have always said, we want a gal with a bottom where when she's walking down the street, not only does it go east-west, but it also goes north-south.
At least 5 minutes late, Cheeses said, did you know true cup size is based on size 34 band size? So if you're a 36C, you're actually more of a B cup. I had no idea. I thought the cups were just whatever they are.
And actually, don't they vary from like store to store and stuff like that in terms of how they fit?
Yeah, quite a bit. I still remember when I went to Victoria's Secret, so they measure for you there, which is really helpful. And she was like, yeah,
hiring?
you're a C cup. And I was like, ha, no, I'm not. But okay, thank you.
Made
me feel good. Yeah, absolutely. They'll do it for anybody. It's actually really helpful.
It is. I'm sure it is. I've never followed all that stuff. I don't know how that works, but...
Honestly, I don't really know how it works either.
I mean, how much... So you're saying different places you're measured different. What are we talking in a range here? How much do they...
It could be a whole different cup size.
So like one cup size.
Yep. Actually, yesterday I wore a bra. I was super proud of myself. I think I lasted maybe 30 minutes because I'm not used to having stuff on my sternum, pressing down on there. I was like, yeah, I gotta take this thing off. I can't do it.
Oh, you don't wear bras?
No, I can wear like those bralettes that aren't. There's just like kind of like a tiny little tank top vibe. But otherwise, yeah, that pressure on my sternum. Oof, no, thank you.
What about what are those sports bras?
Nah, I don't like those too.
Too tight?
Yeah, a little too. Too much.
I hear you. Oh, back here in the United States, a Florida dude was arrested over the weekend for allegedly driving well over 100 miles per hour because he was, quote, late for work. Dude, unless you work for NASA and you're the only one who knows that an asteroid the size of Texas will impact Earth in less than a month, and you need to recruit a misfit team of deep core drillers to save the planet, I think you can dial it back a little bit.
He must have a tough boss.
Or what do you think? You must really be on thin ice if you need to go 100 miles an hour to avoid being late. You know what I mean?
He's been late a bunch. There must be something going on.
The fella going balls out His name is James Lloyd. He was arrested, booked on reckless driving. He's 22 years old. Well, you know, the young people in general, they like to go hammer down. Ooh, he was driving a 2015 Ford Mustang. That sounds kind of cool.
I think Dr. P has a 2015 Ford Mustang.
He was weaving through traffic. The cops clocked him going well over the 50-mile-per-hour speed limit. So he's going 100 in a 55. He said he was late for work. He apologized. The local cops who pinched Jimmy Lloyd here, they wrote something on Facebook that makes sense. They went ahead and said, he said he was late for work and apologized for speeding, which is nice, and far better than having to apologize to a family after killing a loved one because you were driving recklessly. Good point, bros.
Yeah.
You got him there, you did. I always enjoy a funny obituary.
Me too. That's fun. They're so sad, you know, usually.
Yeah. Like they had some comedy.
Obituaries?
Yeah.
In general? Not exactly uplifting reading. I would agree with that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Even the ones that are informative where you're like, wow, that person did this or that.
Even the ones where you're happy they're gone.
Right.
You read the obituary, you might get a little sad.
You're like, oh no, other people are really sad about this.
Damn shame here. It says a guy checked out in a place called Kentucky. He was born in 1963, so you know he wasn't terribly old. Oh, Jesus. Born in 63, so he was what? 63. Would that make sense? 61. Where am I going with this? How old are you if you're born in 63?
63, so he's 8 years older than I am, and I'm 48. Quick math says then we add 2 to 50, right? And then we got another 6.
8 years older than you.
Because I was born in 75.
He's 12 years old.
12 years older than me. I'm sorry, I went the wrong way.
You can't count on
all
me
right,
for
let's
this.
start that all over.
Yeah.
37 plus 23.
Huh? What does it mean to say 37 plus
Because
23?
1963 to 2000 is
Well,
37.
someone just tell me how old the
60.
man. Huh?
60.
60.
Oh, yeah, that should have been easy math. You guys suck at math.
Jesus.
I was just waiting to see where you were going with your.
I'm telling you,
Catch up where I'm at.
you have to help me. Help me. I don't know.
For anybody that just tuned in, everybody else is bad at math but me.
Jesus, balls. He wasn't terribly old. James Lovelace was the guy's name. His son, Rocky, wrote his dad's obituary and decided to keep it loose. I dig that. Rocky started his dad's obituary by saying that his dad will be, quote, moderately missed. That's pretty good.
That is good.
Rocky wrote, Jamie, his name James Lovelace. Jamie, a divorcee, father, grandfather, and proud owner of a few lots in the trailer park, had enough and upped and died on us June 14th. This is where it gets really good. In order to avoid another stolen presidential election.
Oh, my God.
So he died June 14th. Today's June 22nd. How long ago was that?
Oh, no!
I'm going to say 8 days.
There you go. You got that one.
Yep, got that one.
In order to avoid another... That's good. They say that Mr. Lovelace was known for his appetite, his social events, and his memorable catering. On many occasions in life, I just sounded like Wapple where he tries to be Canadian. On many occasions in life,
Yeah, Australian.
James was seen in his backyard at the trailer park during the early hours of the morning, hammering beers, standing over country-style ribs, and yelling, "It's got a head like a cat on it." While nearby neighbors would peek out their windows bearing looks of disgust and amazement as his party guests were slurring remarks about needing to speed up his cooking style. "We've been here since 5 o'clock, they would say. "I gotta work in the morning." Rocky told the local paper he didn't make it back to Kentucky in time to see his dad before he passed, and he wanted to write the obituary. He said it took him about 10 minutes to write it before sending it off to the funeral home. Here's more from the obit. Jamie loved his family more than anything else in the world, except ice-cold Bush, or room temperature Bush, or T-bones, or New York strip, or prime rib, shrimp, swimming, poker, his hatchback Mustang GT, tank tops, Kentucky men's basketball, and his personal copy of Eddie Murphy Raw.
But the family's right after that.
Right.
Right after that.
Real close.
That's great. Dude put the obit up on line skis, and everybody digs it. All right, let's wrap this deal up with some inconsiderate dildos on airplanes. There's never a shortage of that kind of thing, is there, Josh?
Doesn't seem like it.
You guys know me. I don't ride on those airplanes. But I imagine...
Some of the stats are pretty disappointing. You know, when it's like, yeah, we got 1,000% more... And trust me, I'm the math guy. 1,000% more flight attendants getting punched in the face or kicked in the nuts.
Yeah,
something crazy.
than we did 20 years ago. For whatever reason, grown folks can't get on an airplane these days without... I imagine a big, fat set of smelly feet would be tough to take if you're trapped on an airplane.
Yuck.
You guys know the story. Me and a few buddies were traveling to Chicago. Just so you know, if I am going to ride on an airplane, I'm not afraid to take some chances. We went all the way to Chicago. A few years ago, we went to Chicago to see a concert, and on the way home, I was hungover and very tired and anxious and pissed off because here I am on an airplane. I hate every second of it. Two of us were sitting in one row, and the other two of my buddies were sitting behind. And somebody effing asked, somebody farted, and it was absolutely brutal. And because of my state of mind, I said, "Are you effing kidding me? What friggin' stupid pig just crapped their pants? Thanks a lot, idiot. Now we gotta sit in your filth, you friggin' moron." And my buddy from behind taps me on the shoulder and says, "Yeah, that was me." And I said, "Well, I still mean every word of it."
Yeah.
Smelly feet on an airplane. There's video of an airplane passenger pouring soda on another passenger's smelly feet when they were placed under his seat. A TikTok guy posted video of himself getting revenge to a certain extent, I guess, after noticing the person's smelly right foot underneath him. He says, "A woman on the plane behind me kept putting her smelly feet under me." And he's got video. You can see the foot squirming underneath his seat. He pours some pop on her toe. That didn't faze her. He poured a little more, and eventually she tucked her foot back under her seat. Maybe she was completely asleep. I don't know. I guess that's one way to do it.
I don't know how she got that underneath there. It's weird. The photo's strange.
Yeah,
Just
she
this
wedged
foot.
it in.
Yeah, foot kind of popped up. It looked like that would take some work.
Oh, she did. I guess I should have made it clear. She took her shoe off, and it was just her little...
Yeah, her sock.
Her sock.
Little Puma sock.
And what do you think of this? She's not the only annoying passenger, of course. A man recorded video of another passenger on an airplane. They're cruising. Used his own personal projector to watch the movie The Patriot on an airplane ride.
I think there's better Mel Gibson movies.
Oh, absolutely.
That's so random.
Just out of nowhere, he projected it up onto the wall of the airplane, and he didn't care about anybody else. He just threw it.
It is kind of funny that he did that.
The Patriot.
The Patriot.
Yeah, of all movies.
I'd sit back in my seat. I'd be like, okay, sure, we're doing this.
So
All
we
right.
could have picked any Mel Gibson movie, any Heath Ledger movie, and this is what we got.
There was no sound. He put the subtitles on.
Oh, that's nice of him, though.
Some people said they thought it was cool. Others said it's inconsiderate. What about that's a violent movie and the children? So I don't know.
I think I would find that pretty humorous.
I would too. Just how random it is.
If you could pick a Mel Gibson movie, Cubby, I think I'd go The Road Warrior.
Oh, that's a good
Mel
one. I was thinking like a Lethal Weapon.
Ooh.
Just pick one.
Oh, yeah. Lethal Weapon was funny.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to die on the toilet.
He didn't want to die on the toilet.
And he didn't want to die on the toilet, but they got him out of there.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
scorcher of a day, ain't it, kid?
Gonna be a real scorcher today.
I'm melting.
Oh, God, it's so hot out here.
Yeah, you knew it was gonna be hot when you heard that lonesome slide guitar and that hawk's cry.
Oh, God, it's so hot. Brian, spit on me.
I am hotter than a bear butt on a tin roof in August.
It's so damn hot. Milk was a bad choice.
Yeah, the weather's warming up, isn't it, Josh?
Sure is.
You hate it.
I'm not a fan of hot weather.
I hate it because I freeze to death. I freeze to death. I can't win. I have the coldest house in Hennepin County. So in the winter, it's miserable. And in the summer, you turn the air conditioning on for 5 minutes, it's miserable. I freeze to death in my own home in friggin' June, July, August.
Have you considered calling Apollo Heating and Air the #1 name in heating and air?
Well,
and plumbing?
then. Well,
have you considered something like that? My wife and I joke that we're going to retire to different states. I mean, first, the joke is retiring, right? That's not going to happen.
That's not happening.
But if it did, she wants to move somewhere that's 90s all day, every day, and I want to move somewhere that doesn't get above 0.
Yeah.
I want a negative in front of whatever number it is that day.
Mother Nature is the only thing that could break the two of yous up.
That's it.
That's pretty much it. Hey, real quick, before I dive into the Twins, and we'll get in and out of here before you know it, we were talking about a shoplifting story earlier. I shared my shoplifting story from when I was a kid. Josh infamously stole a Seal CD back in the early 90s and got in trouble for shoplifting. Listen to this text message from Skinny Dips and Bong Rips Jesus. He said, I stole 2 baseball hats when I was about 13. I felt so bad I turned myself in.
Oh, wow.
I felt like a jackass, he said. Well, you're an honest guy. We can tell by the name. Twins have been hurting pretty badly over the last week, so this had to feel pretty damn good last night. Kyle Farmer delivers a walk-off single in the 10th inning. The Twins snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 5-4 win over the Boston Red Sox last night.
What a stud.
Kyle Farmer's been great for this team. He has been.
He has.
Yes.
I saw him hit a home run for the Saints. His first at bat.
Really?
I think it was the first game he came back after his face got blown off.
Yeah.
And he gets up there and hits a home run. It was awesome.
Those Farmers, man. They do good things. Ashley, you got to be just squirming in your chair over there. The strudel, Max Kepler's suddenly hitting the ball like it's 5 years ago.
I'm so happy.
Kepler had a dong last night.
He looked good yesterday, too. Extra, more than usual.
You're talking about his performance or just his appearance?
Oh, his appearance, but his performance as well.
I think he thrives in the heat. You know what I mean?
Bet,
the rest of us in this kind of a heat, we look, exhausted, like we're about ready to drop dead, where the strudel, he shines, the sweat on his, you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah,
he glistens.
He glistens.
He looked so good that my boyfriend jumped on board last night. He was like, honestly, I wouldn't kick him out of bed. So how do we make this happen? Are his DMs open? And I was like, no, he doesn't get DMs. And he's like, wait a minute, why do you know that?
That is fascinating that you don't know that.
I figured there'd be some kind of meltdown soon, the way things have been going for the fellas. And Rocco did get ejected from the game. We can give you some more details a little bit later. The two clubs wrap up their series today, noon. If you're not going down to the ballpark, it'll be televised on Bally Sports North. Joe Ryan starts against some kind of an opener setup for Boston. More to cover at 7:30. Josh is coming up next with his news.
Half-assed morning show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
I've told them over and over, all those bad words that mommy says? You scream those at the top of your lungs. Do you know why? Because it's going to grab somebody's attention that you're in trouble.
An Ohio woman posing as a child protective services agent allegedly tried to abduct her 4-year-old neighbor as he was playing in his front yard.
Oh!
Home surveillance footage of the bizarre encounter shows the young boy sitting on an orange bicycle Saturday just a few feet from his front door when the stranger approached. The woman, identified by cops as 44-year-old Lisa Narcelli, looked over her shoulder toward the house before bending back over the boy while talking to him and rubbing his back, the boy's father said.
It's already creepy.
His parents claim Narcelli asked their son, to come to the home with her at least 3 times and told the boy that she had a really pretty car seat for him inside her car. After nearly 3 minutes, the boy hopped off his bike, threw his hands up, and retreats to the house, stating he had to go get his mother. The woman can be heard telling the boy that her name is Lisa and to tell his mom she's from Child Protective Services. She then expectantly waits outside for her mother, or the mother, I should say, while calmly vaping.
He's like, Mommy, there's some lady here that wants to talk to you. She shows me a badge that says her name. She proceeds to rattle off my children's names. She said I have to make sure that the children are safe for this home.
Narcelli, who lives just a block away from the family, then allegedly doubled down on the lie, asking the boy's mother to be let inside the home to conduct a CPS investigation in response to a complaint filed against her and her husband. The mom and dad allowed Narcelli into their home, but became suspicious after she left without leaving any contact information.
Your intention was clearly to take my son, to convince him to walk down the street with you to this house, which I didn't even know you lived this close, which is terrifying in itself.
Narcelli claimed in a statement she'd been drunk during the time of the incident, but had only been acting in the best interest of the boy. I'd been drinking since I woke up that morning, she said. I walked to Kroger to get more beer, and on the walk home, I saw a young child that I felt wasn't being supervised. So in an attempt to scare the parent, I pretended to be from CPS.
God.
All right. You know, hero is a word that's thrown around too much, but I think it's appropriate here.
Absolutely.
Police
Man,
say
we got some characters out there, don't we?
And she looked, to me, completely normal. Like it just looked like your average soccer mom or something.
That's even scarier.
Yeah.
Wow.
Police say Narcelli has had several other run-ins with cops while under the influence. Turns out when she's drunk, she makes some terrible choices.
Oh, bets are off, yeah, when she gets a few.
Really smart kid, though.
Yes, absolutely. At that young age, to have that gut feeling and go grab his parents.
Pretty car seat? Sweet, I'm in. That would have been me.
Right?
I think that'd be you now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I'll fit, but I want to see it. A Manhattan firefighter swiped credit cards from a dead man during an EMS call.
Oh, no.
Then went on a spending spree the next day, including a pair of AirPods at a Target store. 33-year-old Silas McKenzie, who had been working for the FDNY for 4 years, pulled off the sickening scheme while responding to a 911 call for an unresponsive male. The resident was pronounced dead at the scene, but that didn't stop McKenzie. The rogue firefighter left the dead man's apartment, and then as other first responders were in the midst of sealing the home, it was discovered the dead man's credit cards were missing. McKenzie spent the next morning traveling to various stores using or trying to use the victim's cards to the tune of over $1,000. The district attorney said these allegations and actions are reprehensible, even more so because he's a member of the city's bravest and violated the public trust. He's due back in court in September.
Stealing from a dead man.
Yeah, that ain't right.
That's a good way to get haunted.
Yeah, true.
No doubt.
It's a perfect way to get haunted.
Authorities in Florida released body camera footage in the case of a man arrested trying to steal a jet ski while completely naked. Police arrested 47-year-old Yakov Levi after they say he tried to steal the personal watercraft. According to an arrest report, the owner of the business, who the jet ski belonged to, initially told Levi to get away after noticing him trying to board it and push it into the water. He then broke a paddleboard handle that belonged to the business and used it to hit the manager in the head. An officer arrived. Levi got into the water and refused to come out. Instead, he stuck up his middle fingers at police and eventually took off his shorts, becoming completely exposed. Before being taken into custody, police said Levi grabbed his groin area and made a lewd gesture.
Ah, yuck.
Police said 2 Good Samaritans who tried to help get Levi out of the water were also struck by the suspect. Eventually, an officer punched Levi in his stupid face in order to gain control over him and bring him to justice. You can see the video on 93x.com.
Naked video?
Yeah, if you want.
Nice.
An Oregon man's facing a series of charges after intentionally exposing grocery store employees to fentanyl, causing them both to get sick, and even one experiencing a stroke.
Good Lord.
And it appears the culprit, 36-year-old Abed Lopez had a stroke of his own because he was masturbating during the incident.
Man.
According to court records, the store manager received a report of a man possibly masturbating in a stairwell. When the manager and another employee went to investigate, they found the suspect, later identified as Lopez, hog in hand. The employees told Lopez to leave, but he replied, "You can't tell me what to do," and began lighting up a substance on a piece of foil. He put the foil in the manager's face 4 different times before leaving, exposing him to the substance. The manager had to go to the hospital and reported he was hallucinating and not feeling well. Later the same day, a security officer reportedly saw Lopez lighting foil in the same stairwell and told him to leave. According to the documents, Lopez slapped him in the face while holding the foil. The officer said he could smell the drug residue on Lopez's beard, describing it as like cat pee mixed with Axe body spray.
Oh, yeah.
The security guard said he began to lose feeling in the right side of his body and couldn't remember anything until he woke up at the hospital. Medical staff reported he suffered a stroke due to fentanyl exposure.
It's just beyond belief.
You don't wake up and expect that to happen at work. A masturbating guy getting you high and then you have a stroke.
All of what you just told us, it would take me 1,000 years to come up with a story like that.
There was a gross moment at actor Pierce Brosnan's house. Police say a man pooped and peed in his neighbor's yard and then stormed the former James Bond actor's property and used the laundry room to wash his butt.
Oh, man.
LA County Sheriff's deputies rushed to Pierce's Malibu estate Monday afternoon after getting reports of a man on his and his neighbor's properties. Deputies say the guy was using the neighbor's backyard as his own personal bathroom, dropping a deuce and rocking a tinkle, before rummaging around the garbage bins and then moving over to Pierce's place. Cops say the man walked around Pierce's backyard before heading to the front. Then he made his way inside a laundry room, apparently using a sink to clean himself. He took off when cops rolled up, heading down to the beach. He didn't get far, though, as a sheriff's helicopter found the guy hiding nearby.
Jesus Christ. How does he get into Pierce Brosnan's effing house?
It seems like it wouldn't be an easy thing to do.
No.
Imagine he's got a fence of some sort.
That guy's the greatest James Bond ever.
I loved him as James Bond.
Number one. And also just a talented guy in any other aspect of his life. I saw one of my buddies in high school have to wash himself in a laundry tub because he had pooped in the washing machine.
Oh. One of Disney World's most leisurely rides turned into a nightmarish cruise Friday night when a woman jumped out of her boat and berated trapped riders. The altercation, posted to TikTok, shows a woman pacing in an off-limits area of Epcot's Grand Fiesta Tour, a normally relaxing boat ride themed to the Three Caballeros. Because of safety concerns, the entire ride was stopped, trapping boats filled with adults and kids next to the shouting woman. A cast member operating the ride attempted to get the woman to calm down, but she continued to point and yell at people on the boats.
I understand, but you can be like,
A second video eventually shows the woman climbing over ropes to leave through an employees-only area. Deputies actually responded to 2 separate disturbances involving the same 37-year-old woman Friday night. The first occurred at 7 p.m. at the Mexico Pavilion, which is where the Grand Fiesta Tour ride's located. The second about an hour later in line for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Police believe the woman was very intoxicated. In comparison to Magic Kingdom, which only serves alcohol at sit-down restaurants, Epcot has gained a reputation for drunken antics. Alcoholic drinks are served at all of the country-themed pavilions, which has prompted guests to create unsanctioned challenges to drink at each of the 11 pavilions. Reports say drinking around the world has become a bucket list activity for some imbibing Disney adults.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Philadelphia police said yesterday afternoon initial reports of teens playing with explosives inside a grocery store were unfounded.
There was no explosion. There was no sticks of dynamite. It was nothing sinister. It was nothing planned.
The incident happened about 5:10 p.m. Tuesday at the Fresh Grocer in the city's Germantown section. Police say security called to report 3 teens, roughly between 16 and 19 years old, were wearing all black clothing and trying to light sticks of dynamite. But once bomb squad units arrived, they found no evidence of explosives.
They do sell fireworks in that particular store. They might have heard some popping noises. There was no explosions. They think there might be poppers.
The commotion was enough to concern shoppers inside the store who say teens need a better outlet.
I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's wanting to be destructive, which I don't understand that either.
Police originally stated that the teens were trying to light dynamite, but they later stated that wasn't true.
Be a hell of a deal if that was true.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I updated the story, it was completely different. But I was going to tell you that these kids, the cops found dynamite. I was wondering, where does a teenager get dynamite?
Yeah, no kidding.
Hell if I know.
Asking for a friend. A bear was caught on video dangling from a second-story window of a Colorado home before climbing inside and helping itself to some of the family's food. You can see the video on 93x.com. Video showed the animal dangling from the window as if it were a scene from a cartoon. Eventually, the bear was able to pull itself inside. It apparently left the house by exiting through another window, this time on the ground level. The residents weren't home at the time, but the homeowner said the bear helped itself to some pork chops and other snacks before he left.
That sounds adorable, Cubby.
Yeah,
It is adorable.
It is. You should watch the video. I didn't know bears could do that kind of thing.
I just swung by our website. I'm going to try to watch the video, but that's never a safe bet.
Bears are such silly
with our
animals.
They are silly.
I see so many videos of them just doing weird stuff. I watched a video yesterday of a bear attacking a mirror because it didn't like its reflection. So silly.
In other bear news, The Bear Season 2 premieres today on Hulu. Dana's a fan, I know that.
All three of us are.
So
Oh, you all are?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's the problem here? I've never heard of it. What's The Bear?
It's a show about a small Chicago sandwich shop and all the chaos that goes on inside.
Yeah.
Gives you flashbacks if you've worked in a kitchen before.
Yeah,
that
and
right?
the main character is sexy, so that
It
helps.
sure is.
It's a popular show, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just finished the first season to get ready.
The headline from CBSNews.com reads, "Man collides with deer on motorcycle, suffers minor injuries." What the hell is a deer doing on a motorcycle?
It's one cool deer, I'll tell you that.
It happened on Monday night at approximately 8:21 p.m. A 54-year-old Minnesota man and a 12-year-old passenger suffered minor injuries after colliding with a deer on a motorcycle. Yeah, like you said, I bet it looked cool. According to the Morrison County Sheriff's Office, the rider of the motorcycle, a Sauk Rapids man, and his juvenile passenger were transported to a hospital where they were treated for minor injuries and then later released. Luckily, they're going to be just fine. No word on the deer. Minneapolis, will be named Swifty-Appolis tomorrow. The city announced the new moniker, which will last for just one day, in honor of singer Taylor Swift and her fans, known as Swifties, who will converge for 2 sold-out shows tomorrow and Saturday at US Bank Stadium in the city formerly known as Minneapolis.
We are renaming Minneapolis to Swifty-Appolis this coming Friday. Taylor's records, they speak for themselves. Taylor is one of the most popular female artists in our history, selling more than 200 million records and winning 12 Grammys.
The mayor's announcement, filled sometimes not so subtle references to Swift songs at yesterday's news conference, was a nod to the singer's favorite number.
We want everyone to know that we're not just shaking it off. Our downtown leaders are prepared to make this weekend enchanted, and I know this weekend will prove to be anything but a cruel summer. So I just got through quite a few song titles. Any guesses on how many I've said so far? There's no bad blood if you haven't really been tracking either. Final tally for song titles is 13. See if you can get them all, which is obviously Taylor Swift's favorite number.
The name isn't officially changing in its fleeting life, as Swifty-Appolis isn't any sort of executive order or mayoral proclamation. However, on Saturday, the mayor is expected to formally proclaim Taylor Swift Day in Minneapolis.
That is quite adorable. I love it. I love how excited everybody is about it.
Me too.
It's crazy to me. I mean, it's nuts. I'm trying to think of another artist who's come to town where it's gotten this much attention. Huge artists have played at US Bank Stadium.
Care 11 put a tweet out. So today there's this massive truck that's going to sell the tour merchandise that opens up downtown. And it opens up at 10 a.m. And the first people got in line last night at 11 p.m. so they could be the first ones to buy merchandise this morning.
Nuts. Tonight on Fox, the 1-hour special TMZ investigates the miracle children of the Amazon. A behind-the-scenes look at the 4 kids who miraculously survived 40 days in the jungle after surviving a plane crash in the Amazon.
A miracle in the jungle.
A plane crash. All the adults dead. Miraculously, 4 children survive, including an 11-month-old baby. 40 terrifying days alone in the Amazon until a miraculous rescue.
Is that a true story?
Yeah, we talked about it in the news.
We did?
Yeah.
And where can I find this? That sounds like a program I could follow.
Fox Tonight.
I think I have that channel.
And as I mentioned earlier, just a day shy of exactly a year since the popular show's series debut, The Bear Season 2 premieres today on Hulu. And then tonight at 7, the 2023 NBA Draft on ABC. Turk on Scrubs, Donald Faison, 49.
Love him.
He's cool.
Yeah. Retired quarterback Kurt Warner, 52. Dan Brown, author of Angels and Demons, The Da Vinci Code, The Lost Symbol, Inferno, Origin, he's 59. Bruce Campbell of the Evil Dead series, 65. Cyndi Lauper, 70. Happy 12th anniversary to DJ Done Method Around Jesus and the wife. Safe travels to Candy Jesus on her way to Michigan, listening along the way. Best of luck to Asian Cop Jesus on starting his new business today. And happy birthday to ex-iron worker, now retired blind Ninja Cat Jesus from Joe the Plumber. I realized the other day, I think I need glasses.
Dude.
I'm having trouble with some of this stuff.
Should I borrow you my readers?
I don't know if that would work. Would it?
I thought you were going to say the guy was a blimp operator.
Yeah, no.
And I was going to be fascinated by that.
No,
but
that's
instead
on me losing my vision.
Well, you know what?
I had a piece of mail today that I couldn't read who it was to. I had to stick it way
that
far
dad
away.
move?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Cool,
Josh.
man. It's time for you to get readers.
I think I'm gonna have to get
for
some.
you. I'm
Yeah.
excited for it because it sucks without them.
Yeah,
Sucks
I know.
with it.
When did you start wearing them? Not too long
I don't know.
ago.
That was 6-8 months ago, a year ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, it hasn't
but,
been that long.
But
I think I'm
helpful.
having sympathy blindness.
That's great.
And ironically enough, blind Ninja
I've
Cat
got,
Jesus.
you know what you do? A lot of folks who buy readers know this. You go buy a pack of 50 of them. So I've got spare pair at the house. I should bring you a couple tomorrow and see if it works better.
Yeah, well, I have a pair.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I just got to bring them in. I got them and I didn't really need them much, but lately I've noticed today's been really bad for me for some reason.
Here we go. You having trouble with erections also?
That's why I got the readers. So I'm trying to find this thing. I was hoping that those would help me find it. It's very small, and that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
I was about 300 pounds in college. Sixers had brought me in for a visit, and the owner says, hey, everybody's concerned about your weight. I think I had 6 weeks before the draft. He says, I want you to stop back here the day before the draft, where we want you to weigh 285. So I get down to about 285, and then my agent says to me, they have a hard cap in the NBA. If you get drafted by the Sixers, you're going to have to play your first year for $75,000. I didn't leave college for $75,000. I could have got that much in college. He says, what do you want to do? So we went on an eating binge. I stop in Philly. I weigh 298. I leave, and I'm thinking woo, we dodged a bullet. And if you go back and look at that tape, there's this look on my face when they said, with the 5th overall pick in the draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Charles Barkley out of Auburn. I got this look on my face what the...
Hey, Randy Shaver.
Yes, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to you as well. I've heard that story many times over the years, but just in case you haven't, that was cute. And you can relate to this, Randy Shaver. You've been battling weight issues lately.
Yes.
Charles Barkley tried to binge eat his way out of having the Philadelphia 76ers draft him back when he was eligible in 1984.
That's funny.
So unhealthy.
He was a little big. He was a bigger dude. He was. That's why they called him the round mound of rebound when he went to Auburn University. He was a little wider than most NBA players. And he showed up to work out for the 76ers, and they said, we need you to lose a little bit of weight. And then his agent says, well, if the Sixers draft you, they're only going to pay you $75,000. So he went straight to Denny's.
That's awesome.
Tried to make himself fat. And he did, but they still drafted him anyway.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yes.
The owner, he said, even called him a fat ass at one point or another. You fat ass. But it all worked out in the end for Charles and the Sixers, and his career has been Remarkable.
I would argue his career has been incredibly successful, both on the court and off.
Absolutely. There you go. Before we get to all this NBA draft stuff.
Yeah.
You're probably well aware of the fact that folks are just falling down and molesting themselves because this Taylor Swift program is coming to town.
Sure.
You've heard a few things?
I've heard of her.
Is that, so that's not anything you listen to on a regular...
Sure, if it's on, I'll listen to it.
Fair enough. But you know what? Somebody texted me, is this true? Willie Nelson is playing a show in Somerset, Wisconsin tomorrow night?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Him and a bunch of other people, too.
Pardon me?
It's like a whole dang thing, huge lineup.
It's a whole dang thing.
A whole
The
thing.
Elron Music Festival.
Who else is with Willie?
I have no... This is the first I've heard
Nelson and family, Robert Plant and Allison Crass.
of it. Oh, no.
Trampled by the Turtles, Molly Tuttle and Golden Highway, and
Sounds like
Practical Kid.
You're kind of starting to sound like me when you read off new artists.
Yeah, I think you screwed up a few of those there.
Don't forget about the string cheese incident. They're popular.
I have heard of them.
You have?
Yeah,
I
my
didn't even
buddies
see
are
that.
huge fans of them.
Los Lobos, the Avid Brothers, John Fogerty, Nathaniel Rateliff.
John Fogerty? Wow. And I'm sorry, someone said there's a band out there called the String Cheese Incident. Okay.
That sounds cool.
They're like a jam band, are they?
Yeah.
I wonder what the incident
That's why my
was.
buddies like them.
Josh used to go to a lot of live concerts before the incident.
I did.
Yeah. I'm just kind of, I'm very interested in this because Willie Nelson, I mean, wow, what a big star. Although, I have to tell you, an old timer that I drink with loves Willie Nelson. When karaoke night comes around, this old pile, he will, at least he used to. Now I don't think his lung capacity isn't enough for him to sing karaoke anymore. But years ago, when karaoke night came up, he'd go up there and sing Willie Nelson. He loved Will. Then he went and saw him in person. Oh, he came back to the bar furious. He said it was absolutely awful.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
he was
darn.
so disappointed. He was so pissed off. He said, "Why have a live concert if you can't sing?" He said Willie just could not. But still, it's kind of interesting that the guy's coming to town. How old is Willie Nelson now? 85, 84? That's a hell of a deal. But like I said,
90.
He's 90?
Yeah.
One old buddy of mine went a few years ago, and he said, "I'll never do that again."
Oh, it is way too hot for him to be performing.
I mean, that was just one man's experience, just telling you. John Fogerty, that's kind of interesting, too. Mm-hmm. What band did he gain rise to fame in, Randy Shaver? John Fogerty. Oh, come on. You grew up in the 70s.
I'm sure it's an easy one, but I...
Tell him, Wapple. Really?
The Eagles?
No, you bozo.
I know it's
Creedence Clearwater Revival. I
looked-
thought you'd know this, Wapple, because your dad holds you down and makes you listen to old records when you're not digging a grave for a dog.
Yeah, I'm looking up more info on this. So it looks like John Fogerty's not going to be playing tomorrow.
Oh, well, whatever. It doesn't
it's
matter.
Willie, Robert Plant, Trampled by Turtles, Molly Tuttle, and Partial Kid.
We're not too worried about it, Wapple.
Texas Jesus said, Willie Nelson with Robert Plant. Is this concert at 4 p.m. after pudding? I'd be okay with that.
I went and saw Robert Plant a few years ago. 2 words for you.
That's disappointing. Can he do it at all? Can he still bring it?
The guy can still sing, but for Pete's sake.
It's really folky.
Oh, God help us. He folked my brains out is what he did.
Oh, my God. That doesn't happen very often either.
No. But I had to throw that in there. Willie Nelson.
You're not used to it at your age.
No. Very limited folking.
Folking, yes.
If I do folk, it's very fast, Randy. It's over in no time.
That's right. It's nap time.
But I got to say about Willie Nelson, I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. Right. I mean, so what? He sucked eggs when my old drinking buddy went to see him a few years ago. He's one of the greatest. Poncho and Lefty, It doesn't matter how many times I hear that song, it still touches me. It moves me. Everyone, Poncho and Lefty, everyone, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, we've played that before when you brought it up.
Or when he sings Always on My Mind, right, Randy?
Yes, I actually saw Willie live at, what's the casino up in Hinckley?
I'm no good at that.
Grand Casino?
Yeah.
Grand Casino. I'm going to say it was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe more. And I have to agree with the person who said,
"Oh, no."
Yeah, it just wasn't. I walked away saying, wow, I'll never do that again.
That's funny.
This is funny. Flavor Saver Jesus said the 4 p.m. after pudding joke is good, but it actually starts at 3:30 and it's done at 11.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. That's too long.
All right.
Yep.
Sorry I blew up. I just thought it was interesting that living on the road, my friend, is going to keep you free and clean. Now you wear your skin like iron. Your breath's as hard as kerosene. Willie Nelson fans know that I'm singing Poncho and Lefty. NBA Draft is on television tonight, Randy Shaver, and the Timberwolves have the 53rd pick.
I don't think I'll be paying attention.
Well, but you never know, Randy, right? This is the line that I'm sure the Wolves are pushing on people. You never know what could be done with...
I suppose.
I mean, look at Nikola Jokic. He was the 41st pick in the...
Right. But, I mean, you're not going to walk away from the draft tonight thinking, oh, wow, if they keep the 53rd and they take somebody, you're not going to be going, wow, that's going to change our franchise. You're not going to... I mean, you know, Boston and Washington and Memphis just made a big trade late last night, trading Porzingis and Marcus Smart, Tyus Jones going to Washington.
Yeah.
And draft picks were traded as part of that deal. So you never know. There could be a draft night trade.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to rule that out by any. It doesn't sound like the Wolves are going to do anything. It doesn't.
Haven't heard anything.
Haven't really. It doesn't really sound like it's a possibility, but you never know.
Kind of a big deal that Marcus Smart was traded away from the Boston Celtics.
Well, kind of the heart and soul of that Boston team for, I don't know, 8-9 years.
But boy, so he's going to go play for Memphis. Boy, could they use a guy like Marcus Smart.
They could. And Tyus, this is a great deal for Tyus because he gets a chance to start with Washington.
Okay.
So he's going to Washington. And then Porzingis, Boston has decided they've got to redo what their team looks like. Porzingis is only going to be 28 this year.
Isn't that amazing?
So he's a young guy.
Seems like he's been in the league for 15 years.
I just wonder how he fits with already, you know, Tatum and Brown, who, you know, the ball really doesn't move much between those two guys.
Just set some screens, and we'll give you $35 million, you know.
So
I saw
Mike Muscala was part of that trade, too, if you don't
Why does that name ring a bell?
Mike played for Roseville High School. And has bounced around the league quite a bit. He's been at a number of different teams. He's a great guy.
Okay.
But he's also going to Washington as part of that deal.
So 7 o'clock tonight on Channel 5 or ESPN.
Yep.
The NBA draft begins.
Wembanyama.
Yep.
Ooh, do you think he'll fall to the Timberwolves spot?
Only if he robs a liquor store this afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
And crashes a tank into a school bus filled with children.
That's the only chance.
While having an orgasm.
Oh, wow.
My.
That's what it takes to get him, huh?
That's quite the combination.
A tragic accident.
For whatever reason, the order of those events makes a difference to me.
It should, Josh. Absolutely.
Speaking of Victor Wembanyama, this is silly. Randy, you degenerate gambler, you'll probably laugh at this.
What's that?
DraftKings Sportsbook tweeted that they took a $60,000 bet on Victor Wembanyama going first overall in the draft tonight.
You win like $8?
The bettor would win $300. Why are you doing that? Just to say I have $60,000?
Yeah.
Well, sure, and because it's a stone lock guarantee.
Right.
So I mean,
here's how you make an extra $300.
Sure. Yeah. I'm surprised that they took the deal or took the bet.
Back to Willie Nelson and maybe his limited vocal range these days. A listener texted in an interesting question. Who would be worse live, Willie Nelson or Vince Neil?
Boy, not knowing anything about Willie Nelson's current condition, I'd say Vince Neil still.
Oh, watching Vince Neil on stage these days is one of the more painful experiences that any human could put themselves through. Now, watch today. We're going to be forced to make a concert announcement that Motley Crue is coming back. Oh, that's a good question. Willie Nelson or Vince Neil? So San Antonio's going to go number one, and they'll take that guy. It says here the world-class prick Michael Jordan has final say on the Charlotte Hornets' number 2 pick, despite recently selling his stake in the team.
How's that work?
Well, it's probably because the sale of it has not been finalized or something yet to this point. It's probably needs league approval and some other stuff. So.
Well, it's because he's Michael Jordan.
That's probably why.
Friggin' guy.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty cut and dry deal, too. It sounds like Scoot Henderson is going to be the number 2.
Scoot.
That's sweet.
Henderson. Yeah. You think that's a sweet name? I think that's kind of silly. He sounds 4.
I think it's cool.
You like Scoot?
Yeah, it's nothing like it.
Sterling Scoot Henderson.
Sterling.
Ooh, Sterling. I like that.
I don't know why you'd go away from that. All right. So Michael Jordan no longer going to be running the Charlotte Hornets. I like the fact that his, in the 13 years that he's been majority owner, they've accomplished nothing.
Nothing.
I enjoy that.
Not a thing.
They are reportedly deciding, as you just said, Randy Shaver, between Scoot Henderson. Maybe they'll trade the pick. And also they're throwing around a kid by the name of Brandon Miller from the University of Alabama.
Right.
Now, there's a band that can still cut it, Alabama. And I think did they come to town already? I thought they were coming back. I love Alabama. All right, speaking of Brandon Miller, I wonder if this hurts his draft chances. Or I wonder if this will dump him lower in the overall order. He met with reporters, just jaw-jacking about his future. And they asked him at one point or another who he thinks the greatest player of all time is. Forget about that prick Michael Jordan and LeBron James. He says the greatest player of all time is Paul George.
No.
I actually don't think LeBron is, the go to basketball. I think my go to basketball is Paul George. And, I always grew up watching him, so it's never just LeBron.
I think he's confusing favorite player with who he believes is the great.
I think that's what it is.
Fair enough.
Alabama's in town tonight.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Where are they performing?
XL.
Are they really?
Yeah, I knew it was coming up, because I saw him last time around and I loved it. Randy Owen.
So they're playing in St. Paul, not Swifty-Appolis?
Yes.
I saw him last time around and it was fun. The closer you get, oh girl. All right, so I could do this kind of thing all day. Cut me off if you get burned out on it. Nikola Jokic having that wonderful run through the NBA playoffs and his team winning it all. You probably, if you were tuned in, you heard his nickname over and over and over again. Joker this, the Joker that, Joker, 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 on and on and on and on and on. Well, first off, do you like the nickname, the Joker?
I think it's cool.
Sure.
Yeah, I like it too. It's similar but different. Did anyone watch a lot of the NHL playoffs this year?
Not really, no.
No,
really.
not.
After the Wild were out, that was about it.
Then a lot of you probably didn't notice this, but it goes along the lines of your standard NHL guy. They love nicknames. Hockey players in general love nicknames, and as we've mentioned before, usually your nickname is your first or last name with an E or an at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. This was kind of driving me nuts when watching the NHL playoffs. The way the announcers even call each other by their nickname. Ed Olchuk was Edzo. Who am I missing that was in there? They would check in with the official. Okay, did this puck cross the line? Let's check with our video replay guy, former referee Don Kaharski. But throughout every broadcast, he was Coho. What do you think, Coho? I don't know, Edzo. It just went back and forth. It just is. But speaking of nicknames, somebody recently busted out what they thought are the greatest NBA nicknames of all time. And I do enjoy this stuff for the most part. They had some honorable mentions like Lynn Sanity. Feel free to throw in. You go ahead. I'll give you the nickname. You give me the player. Lynn Sanity.
Jeremy Lin.
Yep.
Mad Max. It's one of my favorite. I'll give you a hint. He was a player from one of my favorite all-time teams. He played with Hakeem Olajuwon. Mad Max. Vernon Maxwell.
Vernon Maxwell.
The Birdman with all the tattoos. Anyone remember?
Oh, yeah.
The Nuggets.
Birdman.
What was his real name?
Real plain, common name. Chris Anderson.
Chris Anderson.
They gave honorable mention to the Big Ticket.
Sure.
I'll get there in a minute. Did former Golden Gopher great Trent Tucker, did he give Kevin Garnett the nickname Big Ticket?
I think he did.
Yeah, that's what I was led to believe.
Oh,
he did.
Rain Man. I'll give you a hint. He played for Seattle, and then he signed a contract with Cleveland, and we learned that he had multiple children from multiple women.
It's the forward.
He could dunk the hell out of the ball.
Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp, the Rain Man. Houdini of the Hardwood, Randy Shaver.
I don't know.
That's Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy.
At any rate, here are some that those were just honorable mentions. Here are some that they thought were the greatest. The Logo.
Oh, that's Jerry West.
Vin Sanity.
Vince Carter.
Of course, Air Jordan. The Admiral.
Oh,
David Robinson.
David Robinson.
The Mailman.
Carl.
It's Karl Malone.
Aren't you Eskimo Brothers with Karl Malone? Maybe
No.
a lot of people are.
I was. Are you thinking of when my ex-wife and I had a conversation about our hall pass?
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew there was something there.
We've learned some terrible things, terrible allegations about Karl Malone in the last few years. But years ago, when he was an active player, I loved Karl Malone. I loved watching him play for the Utah Jazz with John Stockton, and I was a huge fan. So is this what you're thinking of, Josh? One night, my ex-wife and I were talking about our hall pass, and I said, okay, you go. Or no, she was going to give my hall pass to me, and I would give hers to her. Are you following that?
Yep.
Is that how I think that's how a lot of couples do it? And I think she said something like, you can make a run at Britney Spears. And before she could, I said, and you get Karl Malone. I wanted her to have a baby with Karl Malone.
I can understand.
Yeah.
Try to set them up.
Yeah, I tried to set her up. Black Mamba.
Kobe.
Diesel.
Shaq.
Chocolate Thunder.
Oh, that's Malone. Or, Moses Malone.
No.
Dawkins. Daryl Dawkins.
Yeah, there you go.
Great
Yeah.
job.
Sorry.
Waffle. Great pull.
No, Randy, that's okay. Moses Malone was the chairman of defense or something. It's in here somewhere. Daryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder. Although he had many other nicknames. Double D, Doc,
Yeah.
Dr. Dunk, Sir Slam, Zandokin the Mad Dunker, Dunk You Very Much, Candy Slam, Sweet D, Big Doc, Master of Disaster, Squawkin' Dawkin, Double D Dunk, Sir Dunk, Dunk It, Pure Pleasure, Cool Breeze, Dr. Jam, and the Demon of Destin.
Come on.
New favorite player of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
These sound like condom brands or something.
Right, and I believe he gave himself all of those nicknames. Moses Malone was chairman of the boards.
Chairman of the boards.
Of course, the Dream. Go ahead.
Elijah.
The Glide.
Clyde Drexler.
I'd never heard this one before. The Slim Reaper. He's a current player.
I don't know.
He's a skinny player. Durant's pretty skinny.
Yeah, Kevin Durant.
Really?
I've always thought he was just the Durantula.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Iceman.
George Gervin.
One of the worst on the list. I never liked this. I thought this was so dumb. The Answer.
Iverson.
Allen Iverson. Because if you have a question, he has the answer. That was so dumb.
Yeah.
The glove?
Payton.
Gary Payton. Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Ray Allen.
Human highlight film.
Oh.
That's Dominique Wilkins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another bad one, I think. The Truth.
Oh.
Is that Pierce?
Yes, Paul Pierce. I don't.
Yes.
There you go. You guys did very well. Oh, what about white chocolate?
Yeah, Jason Williams.
Jason Williams.
Dr. Duncanstein?
Well, we covered that. That's Daryl Dawkins.
About the Big O?
No, Daryl Griffith.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah, that was a while back, too.
The Big O.
Oh, Big O, Oscar Robertson.
What about Pistol Pete? He not make the list?
Maravich, he's in there. I thought
that should be a good one.
I thought it would be.
Pretty obvious.
Wilt the Stilt?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Greek Freak.
Yep, that was in there.
There you go. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
What would Wenbenyama's nickname be?
He's going to need one.
How about Earl the Pearl?
Earl Monroe?
Earl the Pearl.
Does Wembenyama have a nickname yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So big-time actress Aubrey Plaza was at the Lynx game the other night in Los Angeles. The Lynx were playing the Los Angeles Sparks, and everybody loved the fact that Aubrey Plaza gave what the young people call 0 Fs. When the in-house cameras tossed her up there on the Jumbotron, rather than waving, she flipped everyone in the stadium smooth off instead. Did you guys all like this video?
Well, it's very her.
Yeah, exactly. It fits her personality to T. She wasn't like trying to do something outrageous. That's
if
just
you're
who she
familiar
is.
with her, that's just her.
Very on brand.
Shades on. She had her shades on, waving the finger back and forth. Everyone thought it was very funny. Internet dorks responded. One said, and Josh has heard this before, they said, how can one person be so cool? They say Aubrey Plaza has a different level of confidence that's fun to watch. And one other said, Aubrey Plaza becoming the Sparks Jack Nicholson is exactly what the WNBA needs.
That would be cool. She just posted up each game.
Now, you tell me, Josh, is this college bowling team controversy as interesting as so many websites are making it out to be?
I don't really get why it's being published so much.
Fair enough.
I mean, it sounds like you don't really think it is either.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was wondering why this a college.
I think it's just because it's bowling, right?
Maybe that's
the
it.
interesting part.
Randy, do you know the college bowling controversy?
I don't.
Okay. A husband and wife team are coaching a college bowling team, Stephen F. Austin, and I guess they're very good. They win national titles. Don't get me wrong, you guys know I love bowling. But I don't think this is quite scandal enough to have everybody talking about it. Haven't we heard 10 times worse than this?
Way worse, yeah.
I think you're right. It's just because it's bowling and no one ever talks about bowling. So the head coach is the wife, her assistant is her husband, and her husband had an affair with one of the players.
Ooh.
And everybody's talking about it like...
Well, that's scandalous.
I think that people are pointing out just some of the things he said were kind of stupid and oblivious. I mean, maybe that's what's making it more.
He does come off like a massive moron.
I think that's a big part. I think the fact that it's bowling, right? It's different, and then this.
Okay, well, let me read you. Yeah, he does sound like a ridiculous idiot. Somebody commented on this. Somebody interviewed the coach. His name is Steve...
Lemke?
Lemke.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I think that's right. Lemke. Steve Lemke. And this is what he said about his cheating on his wife with a player on their bowling team. He said, maybe now I'm starting to get why people are talking about this. He said, I knew it was kind of a no-no, but there's no rules saying it can't happen.
Kind of a no-no.
There's no law saying I'm going to jail for doing something like this, he said.
Oh, that's true.
I guess it's just an ethics code. Like, we frown upon it, but there's no rule. I didn't break any laws, he said.
It's weird. This is weird.
Did his wife agree with that sentiment?
It doesn't appear that she agreed with any of that.
Good Lord.
You know, honey, it's just kind of an ethics thing, really, when you break it down. Like, you didn't break any laws, so I still love you. This is fun. We love off-the-field athlete injuries. Although, Josh, this might give you nightmares. A goalkeeper for something called the MLS. He plays for the Miami team. MLS, is that what we have here in town?
Major League Soccer.
Okay. His name is Nick Marsman, goalie for the Miami soccer team. He was bitten by a spider at the zoo, and he ended up having to go to the hospital.
Did he turn into Spider-Man?
Yeah, he shoots webs to stop the balls.
Oh, my gosh. I knew that was going to happen for real.
You called it.
Bit by a spider at the zoo. It was so bad, he was laid out at the hospital for 3-4 days.
Was it like an exhibit?
It's not
or
clear.
Just walking around the zoo?
Right. It's not clear if it was some dangerous, poisonous African.
Like sometimes they let you hold the tarantula in your hand, kind of a thing.
Right.
And the damn thing bites you.
Yeah, or if it was just one that just happened to live at the. I don't know.
A lot of questions on that one.
That'd be kind of scary.
3 days in the hospital, man.
And that thing's going to make puppies, or what do spiders do? They're going to lay eggs in
puppies?
whatever they do.
It's puppies. Did you know that his wife is the former Miss Netherlands?
Get the living hell.
Who's that?
What's it? Nick Marsman, this goalie.
The soccer player.
Yeah, spider goalie.
What does Miss Netherlands look like, Josh?
Well, I'll have to show you a picture here.
Probably pretty.
Safe bet.
She is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Her name is Nathalie.
Nathalie?
He's a handsome guy,
That's
too.
like my ex-wife, Christineth.
Yeah, they make a really
will
good-looking
get my
couple.
ex-wife's or wife, whatever she was. They make a good-looking couple?
Oh, yeah.
Gonna go ahead and click follow on this one.
She's very pretty.
She sure is.
Well, the Twins got to be feeling a little bit better now, huh, Randy?
I'm still looking at the wife.
Nathalie?
Yeah, okay, I'm good now. What's that? Yes, what a nice win for the Twins, considering everything that's been happening over the last few days. Rocco got himself tossed.
Yeah, that was on purpose.
Like it was in the fourth inning, and it took 10, but they survived. Kyle Farmer, big pinch hit, base hit to win the ball game last night, or not pinch hit, but hit in the 10th to win the ball game.
Now, did you guys see the unbelievably bad call? Was this in the 9th or the 10th? Where Michael A. Taylor beat out a throw to first base. They reviewed it, they replayed it, and somehow they still called him out.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah, I saw it was pretty rough.
Yes.
What is the point of video replay if you can F that up?
Well,
he was clearly safe. The pitcher was the player who ended up making the play at first.
Right.
He never touched the bag. He never tagged Michael A. Taylor. I don't understand the point of replay. I don't think I've ever heard Dick and Justin Morneau so completely baffled.
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah, it was pretty blatant. That's the whole reason for replay, right? Is to make these calls conclusively with video proof, and that was pretty much video proof. I'm not sure what they were looking at.
All right, by the way, well, just to wrap it up, the Twins, wouldn't it be something if they could split this series?
It would be.
Noon today, it'll be televised on BSN. Joe Ryan going to pitch for the Twins.
Well,
It'd be great if they could split this series.
Joe Ryan could get himself back to where he was early in the season.
We have a listener in our audience whose wife cheated on him and left him for her bowling coach.
Oh, man.
no.
Sorry to hear that.
I'm also sorry to hear that. And where else am I going with this? There's a listener out there who says that Victor Wembanyama already has a nickname, and it's the franchise.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's
pretty cool.
good.
That's really good.
That's good.
Brandon Belt of the Toronto Blue Jays is second in All-Star voting for American League designated hitters behind Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Angels.
Okay. I didn't know they were doing DH as a position. I thought they were just going to throw somebody in there in that role. But
I don't follow that kind of thing. I maybe I should be more of a passionate.
I didn't know they were going to do that. I suppose because it's a universal position now in both leagues, maybe that's why they've decided to designate it for the All-Star game.
I've always liked Brandon Belt as a player. I love watching him with the, how do you call it, the San Francisco Giants, and now he's doing just fine with the Blue Jays. He's in his first season with the Jays. He has 497 some odd thousand All-Star votes. Ohtani has 1,800,000. Belt was asked about the voting, and he said, yeah, it's rigged. Everybody knows I'm a better hitter than he is, a better DH, and a better leader. But I like how he closes it out. He says, but here we are.
I tell you who's a good DH, a good player, is that Turner for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I mean, he's feasted on Twins pitching, but he's got off to a slow start this year, but, man, he's starting to really hit the baseball now. Good ball player.
He looks like a guy I know, so he kind of aggravates me. But he's a hell of a player. Oh, for you hockey fans, the year 2023 might be known as the year of the goaltender in the Hockey Hall of Fame. This year's class was announced yesterday. Henrik Lundqvist, the New York Rangers all-timer, who ranks 6th all-time in goaltender wins. He's the headliner, I guess.
Okay.
But he's not the only netminder who got the call. There's also ex-Pittsburgh Penguins goalie Tom Barrasso.
Oh, sure.
The prick that beat the Stars in the 91 final. And Mike Vernon.
Oh, yeah.
Longtime Calgary Flame. I believe he was from Calgary and then played for the Flames for many years, but he won a couple of cups with the stupid Detroit Red Wings. He's also going in. Then you've got a female Canadian player. I've heard it said before, Caroline Ouellette. I've seen her play on the Olympic teams and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kenny Hitchcock, did he die?
Coach. I don't think so.
He was the coach for the Stars when they went to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. He didn't die, did he?
I don't think so.
Pierre Lacroix, if I'm thinking of the correct Pierre Lacroix, because whether you believe it or not, it's probably a very common name in the history of the National Hockey League. I believe that's the guy who GM'd the Avalanche when they came fresh out of Quebec. Are you following that time period, Randy?
Yes.
So he was GMing in Quebec, and then they moved to Colorado, and they won a couple of Stanley Cups.
Hitchcock is alive and well.
Thank you.
71.
Good. And Pierre Turgeon.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Great center.
Great player for the New York Islanders. Yep. And if you're shrugging your shoulders saying, I couldn't possibly care less who Pierre Turgeon. Unfortunately, what I remember most about Pierre Turgeon is that he was on the receiving end of one of the dirtiest, nastiest, most brutal cheap shots in hockey F me run in history. And I'm sorry to admit that I loved it when it happened. In the 93 playoffs, you can look this up on YouTube, the Islanders are wrapping up their series against the Washington Capitals, and I loved those Capitals teams from the early 90s with Dale Hunter and Al Iafrate, Mike Ridley, Peter Bondra, Steve Konowalchuk. I can name Dmitry Kristich. I can name that friggin' rock. I loved the Capitals of that era. And the Islanders are about ready to eliminate them from the playoffs. It's like 4 or 5-1 at the time, wrapping up late in the third period. Turgeon steals a pass from Dale Hunter, goes in and scores an exclamation point goal, and Turgeon is parading around the rink. That's it. The series is over. And Dale Hunter said, 1,000, 1,000. I mean, the goal has been scored. The whistle's been blown. The siren, the light is 1,000, 1,000, and absolutely annihilates Pierre Turgeon into the boards. It was, in retrospect, it was horrible. It broke Turgeon's collarbone. He was out for the rest of the playoffs. The Islanders had probably a chance to beat Montreal that year. Without Turgeon, they had no chance. It was ugly and horrible. But at the time, I loved the Capitals, hated the Islanders. Look it up. If you're new to how overly violent the NHL used to be, you'll probably be shocked by watching the video. But it's something that I'll never forget. And finally, Randy, the Detroit Lions they've been roasted, as they say, by social media dorks for their new alternate helmet design.
I love their helmet.
And I don't see what's so terrible about it.
I like them too.
I thought they were cool.
I really like it.
I thought you guys were going to jump on me for liking them.
No.
I really like
Looks good.
I think they're cool.
So
there you go.
I'm not so sure. What are the two bars underneath the line? So what is that
it's
symbol?
the logo is a drawback to when they first became a team in the 50s or whatever. That's where they're getting this. This is a retro thing.
Right.
Don't know what the two bars signify.
Okay. I really like. I love the color. First of all, it's one of my favorite.
The Lions have great colors.
Yeah.
I think the reason people jumped all over him is because A, people don't like new things. Anytime there's a new uniform, people mock it. And B, the Lions have been such an easy target over the years.
You're probably right. Well,
I was going to say, and it's not their. I mean, it's an alternate helmet.
Right. I'm sorry. Did I say that? Yeah.
They're not going to wear it every game.
Yes, an alternate helmet design. They'll wear it once or twice.
Do you think the two bars are for Ford? The Ford Mustang?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I kind of wonder if that.
Well, you
it
guys
kind of looks like that.
You tell me. Do the Vikings have an alternate helmet coming out?
I think this is the first year that teams have been allowed to do it. So it's whether they choose to do it or they're all kind of rolling them out right now.
Well, I like it just fine. All right, Wapple, we have a couple texts supporting your, how do you call it, Mustang theory. The new logo is a reference to the Mustang logo. The new design is a reference to the... There you go.
There you go.
Real quick, though, a little bit of breaking news here. Move over Taylor Swift. The Mall of America just announced that this weekend, Twiggy the water skiing squirrel will be in the rotunda.
Yes!
No way!
Yes.
That's awesome.
I'll be at the Mall of America this
That's
weekend.
it.
No way.
Sorry, Taylor, you're done. No one's going to be at your concert.
I was going to start my vacation on a road trip, but nope, I'm staying.
Are we serious about this water skiing squirrel?
Yeah.
I really want to see him.
Do you think we can get an interview with him?
Friday through Sunday, he's got shows at noon, 2, and 4.
Yes.
At the Huntington Bank Rotunda.
I would love to see something like that.
All right, I'm canceling everything I had for tomorrow. I'm going. I want to see this squirrel.
Yeah. He's a legend.
This has got to be a I don't know, third generation squirrel,
I don't
right?
think it's the original
I mean,
Twiggy.
how many squirrels have they had?
If you remember way back when Marv Albert used to make an appearance on David Letterman's show, Marv had his own little video intro because Marv would always cover the wacky and the weird in sport. He'd show bloopers. And part of Marv's video setup was a water skiing F-me squirrel.
That's right.
Some of the greatest entertainment you could find, right, Josh?
Yeah, I love that thing.
Little critters doing human-like things.
You still see it every once in a while, that water skiing squirrel. I didn't even know it had a name, I guess. Never paid attention.
You say his name was Squeaky?
Twiggy.
Squeaky.
Fair enough. Randy, we'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll put on a dad fight between you and the other guy.
All right. Sounds good.
We'll talk to you later. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text FLEET, F-L-E-E-T, FLEET, to 651-989-9393 for a shot to win a 4-pack of tickets to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show Booze Cruise. The Booze Cruise will be going on Friday, June 30th in Stillwater. Tickets furnished by Stillwater Riverboats, sponsored by Anytime Bail Bonds. This keyword is good today, June 22nd until midnight. Good luck.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Isn't that something? We're back. It's 8:30 in the morning, right on the nuts. We're getting started here with this segment, right on the nuts. Well done, everybody. It's Thursday. I had a listener go ahead and text me earlier to tell me that today was his Friday.
Oh, nice.
Tomorrow will be our Friday. Today's just our Thursday. Where should we go now? Where should we go from here? I don't have to tell you. We as a society, we're in big trouble. Big trouble, baby. We're on our way out. I think we're too far gone to fix the big problems around here. Let's just try and help tweak some of the small ones and see where we can go from there. Does that sound like a decent idea, Josh?
That's where you start. Baby steps.
Let's start chipping away at some of the smaller. Let's begin by ditching some taboos that we've held on to for too long. Oh, like pot. Would you say that that's a taboo that society held on for two, and now things are, everybody's talking about pot. It's driving me crazy. You guys know I'm about ready to snap if someone else says one more word about pot.
You should try some. Maybe calm down a little bit.
That's,
it'll even you out.
Maybe it will. Maybe I'll stick to beer, but that's a good example, I think. Suddenly, the taboo, the stereotype about marijuana has been whittled away to where...
It's mostly gone, I'd say.
Mostly gone.
I mean, there's obviously... it's not totally gone,
It's been pretty funny to watch my family and this whole legalization of weed. Now they're totally, like, for it. And before, it was so bad if you smoked pot. I was just the worst person ever.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's like, oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, now everyone's eating gummies, and you're like, okay.
Even some of their friends are doing it.
It's
They
too
talk
much.
about it.
I'm going to vomit. But you're right. All of this is, I think, pot's a good example. And even when I was a kid, which was kind of a long time ago, but not that long of a time ago, like, say, when I was in school, if I would have come home to my mother's house, you know, on a weekend night looking like garbage, and she said, "What have you been up to this evening?" If I would have said, "Well, I drank heavily and then I crashed my car," she would have said, "Well, that's terrible. Oh, and then I also got caught with some pot." She would have said, "Pot? Oh, my God, what is wrong?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep,
It's
exactly.
different, that's for sure.
People have been talking about the taboos we all need to collectively ditch as a society. A lot of pressure on us, but I think we can do it. Here are some examples. It's completely okay to admit you don't know jack diddly about something.
It is weird how everyone became an expert on everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you don't know something, it's not that you just don't know it or you haven't experienced it. It's that you're an idiot.
You're an idiot. I love that. Yeah. You're a moron. You're stupid.
Instead of, well, maybe you have some specialized knowledge that somebody else doesn't have. It said, no, well, whatever knowledge I have, if you don't have it, you're stupid.
Right. We are absolutely buried in know-it-alls the last few years. Buried in them. We can barely breathe. It should be okay to not know. You shouldn't be pounced on to not know something or another. Jesus Christ, a list of things that I don't know. Couples sleeping in separate is how you say it. Couples sleeping in separate beds.
You hear that more now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously, back in the day on TV, they'd show that just to avoid scandal.
The nightstand in between the two bedstands.
But yeah,
Or
if
two
you
beds.
heard like your friend's parents, they were slept in separate beds, you'd think, oh, their marriage is in shambles.
Divorce.
There's trouble in paradise if your parents slept in separate beds. Let me tell you something. It's the only way to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my thing, but I'm not going to give people crap for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, when I was married, I mean, just these separate hours that we keep, you know, with our job and with normal, you know, it's sometimes make it really, really difficult. It's not that you don't love the person or anything, but sometimes you need your space, especially if you got sleeping issues.
I'm surprised my wife hasn't mentioned it because the alarm goes off at 3, you know, every day. And she doesn't seem to...
She's not getting up at 3.
No, she doesn't complain.
It's
yeah,
the way
I've been waiting for the boyfriend to finally put a kibosh on that because he wakes up at like probably 7. So, you know, 3 hours after I do. And he talks about how it kind of wrecks his day.
I'll have my own bed until the day that I die. Why is it that we feel as if, oh, we're a couple now, we have to sleep together? It's ridiculous. And by the way, what television show was it that was the first television show to show a couple sleeping together?
Was it the Brady Bunch?
Good question. Look that up. I'm sure it's on the internet because I remember, you know, the Dick Van Dyke Show. I believe Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore slept in separate beds. There was a table between them. I think you referenced that already, Josh.
Mary Kay and Johnny.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Okay, that's not the answer I was expecting. They were the very first television show to lack of a better term, a couple sleeping together.
Then it says, I love... So that was in 1947.
Okay.
I Love Lucy in 1955.
That must be the one that most people note then because of the massive popularity of I Love Lucy.
So they put the Flintstones on here.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. That the Flintstones were the OGs.
They're doing it every night.
The Flintstones.
They're making that bedrock.
In 1960, and then 4 years later, you get Bewitched and the Munsters.
Boy, you would have wanted to crawl in bed with Lady Munster.
Oh, my goodness.
The hell was her name again? Lillian.
Lily. Lillian.
Not Lillian, just Lily. Maybe it was both.
No, Lily.
She was scorching hot. Okay. More taboos we need to collectively ditch as a society. If I'm applying for a job, I want you to tell me in black and white how much you're willing to pay me. None of this, so what is your expected salary?
I hate that.
Okay, so the boss asks the prospective employee, what is your expected salary? This individual commenting on these societal taboos says, if I'm asked that in an interview, I always respond with, well, what do you think I'm worth? That sounds like, God, am I lucky and happy to have had the same gig for 27 years, because sitting and trying to sell yourself to a boss and all that businessy crap that goes back and forth, that sounds so miserable. Miserable is how you say it to me.
Yeah, it does.
There's been more and more people calling for the salary to just be black and white and posted on the job posting. This is what the salary is of the job.
Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the
Rather
work requirements are.
it'll be a competitive wage. Well, what the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Just post what you're gonna offer.
When I've been on those websites where you can just go through them to apply to jobs, they always ask that question, like, what do you expect your salary to be? And I'm like, I don't know, like a lot. I'm not sure.
Normal.
Yeah, whatever you think it should be.
Whatever you're making, double.
Yeah.
We're getting crap for missing a joke you told Ashley. I'm sorry, I was reading the list, and you had a great bedrock joke about making a
the brother and sisterhood. I was hoping they would catch that.
Hey, it happens to me all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about the Flintstones and how Fred and Wilma slept in the same bed, and you said they made the bed rock.
That's awesome.
Too easy.
Sorry, I was What?
Too easy.
That was good.
You know what was wrong with that joke, Ashley? It insisted upon itself.
Did you find it mundane?
I found it mundane.
It was a bit shallow and pedantic.
What? Pedantic?
Pedantic.
You know what I'm saying.
Another taboo from society that we need to ditch. See, in my opinion, this has already been ditched. Sex toys for men.
Well, I think there's still a bit of a taboo there. Like, it seems different to me. It does seem different. Like maybe a dude's more of an animal if he's got one of those than a girl is, where it seems more normal for girls nowadays.
Yeah, I would probably be a little taken aback if I walked into a guy's bedroom and he opened up his top drawer and was like, look at all the toys I have for myself.
I think a guy would get crap for it where a girl, people wouldn't even give her crap at all. I mean, depending on what it was.
Well, why would you think so strangely of that, Ashley, when you are a sex toy enthusiast yourself?
I'm not sure. It's just, I guess it's just a
Why
normal
can't
thing.
a guy have a sleeve?
Yeah, I guess I've always looked at it differently for some reason. I need to stop.
Why can't a man have a well-greased sex sleeve? Is it because they insist upon themselves?
Yes.
Here's where they go with sex toys for men. Owning a vibrator as a girl is perfectly acceptable, but even to this day, male sex toys are shrouded in an aura of taboo by society. Men who use them are judged negatively. Well.
Yeah, there is kind of that stigma where it's like if women have them, it's totally cool, but if a guy has one, he's like a lone loser who can't get laid.
Yeah, it's still that is still out there.
It's still very much out there.
It's less taboo than it used to be, but you're right.
Fair enough. Talking about money in relationships. I'm not sure exactly what they mean here. So do they mean when you start dating someone, you should tell them all of your financial information?
Yeah, I wish there was more info on this, too. I mean, obviously, if you're married, that's a different situation. But I don't know that I've ever dated someone and we've discussed finances.
Good point. Now that you bring it up, I've very rarely has that come up. I think I mentioned recently that money is just not something that I talk about with my friends, with my family, with significant others. Maybe it should be. Maybe it would be smarter if we talked more about.
In my experience, it's come up in probably like every relationship I've been in very quickly.
Okay, so
in what way?
But I think part of that reason is that like everyone my age is so gosh darn broke. So it's like easy to be like yeah,
So how
I'm
about what
super broke. You're super broke too. Cool.
Josh and
How much money you got? $3.28. Awesome.
Josh and I were broke when we were your age too.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
much
yeah,
older.
but that was back
So did
then.
you say is your generation more obsessed with money?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
In like
I
a
guess-
negative way, though. Yeah.
I don't remember a relationship where I ever discussed it or it really came up much.
But I think that comes from, it's all from your upbringing, I think. Josh and I don't know, we both came from lower income families.
So did I, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, give me a break. You guys were
I didn't have air
crawling in
conditioning
money.
until I was like 10.
You guys are rich kids.
I was
Crawling in money.
I was 25. But you know, can I just address something real quick?
Yeah, right. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting destroyed via text because I missed your joke, Ashley. Like I was reading the list we were looking up. I'm sorry I missed it. It's a great joke.
It's okay, Josh.
Man.
Lay off of
Lay
him.
off of Josh. I didn't like the joke. he didn't hear it.
I was reading.
I didn't like the joke. It wasn't good enough for me.
I was getting the information.
651-989-9393. Come after me. Because I flat out just thought it was stupid.
What do you think about this, Insomniac? Or Insomniac Jesus said this. I know what he thinks about it because he said it. Women are expecting more from deadbeat guys these days. They don't want to support guys. Would you say, Ashley, that's something you think about?
Yeah, that's true. Especially when I started dating. Since I was renting my own place, I would have never went on a date with somebody that like wasn't at least at that level. Like renting their own place or have their own house,
So
own apartment.
You need them to be around the same.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you then, does your boyfriend know how much money you make?
Yes.
Do you know how much he makes?
Yes.
Josh, do you know your wife, does she know everything about your financial setup?
I mean, we have an idea, but no, nothing exact.
I hear
we could
you.
probably ballpark it.
I don't know. I mean, it's just something that's never come up, but maybe it should. Okay, continuing on. What now?
Skinny dips and bong rips. Jesus, he's back.
Yeah, he was here earlier.
Yeah, he said that he'll lay off me if I'll lay off Josh if I can lay on his mom. No, I'm not going to give you permission for that.
Mental health problems is a taboo that we need to ditch. I think that's well underway.
Yeah, definitely.
They say it's getting there, but it's still taboo in many environments.
Yeah, man, I was high school. Something you never talk about. If you talked about it, you'd get kind of like, what's wrong with you?
It also depends on the level. Like people are like, oh yeah, we can all talk about anxiety and depression, but we're not going to talk about, bipolar, schizophrenia, all that kind of stuff.
I think, what the taboo people have is maybe it comes up too much, but I agree that it shouldn't be looked down upon if you're going through something. That people should be a little more empathetic.
Yeah.
Okay, and now back to money again. We're going back to money here. Asking colleagues how much they make, you should know so you can be treated fairly? Okay, I'm all for everything being fair, but I think that's incredibly rude to ask someone, colleague or not, how much money they make.
Yeah, I agree. I worked at jobs where it was illegal. Like, you couldn't do that. They told you can't talk about what
they told
you
you
make.
that because they didn't want you guys to talk about it. Because then you find out, like, oh, this guy has the same position as me, but he's making X number more than me.
Well, Josh, what do you think of that?
I hear what they're saying. I mean, if you have the same position, you probably want to make sure you're being paid fairly. I don't know if it's like a demeasuring contest. Just you want to make sure, okay, I'm in the range I should be.
I just can't imagine
I wouldn't
ever.
ask.
I would never do it either, but I know more people are doing it.
I can't imagine ever walking up to anyone in any situation and saying, how much money do you make?
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
Uh-huh.
Those people make my skin crawl. I'm disgusted by that. Periods. They say here that periods, it should be the easiest out.
You guys made it easier, believe it or not. I was
really?
kind of like, when I started working here, I was a little weird about it. But then you guys started calling it Shark Week, and I was like, okay, that's hilarious.
That's good times.
We never said that.
Adults playing video games, I thought that we had gotten beyond that, but it made the list here of taboos that we need to ditch. I thought we were all fairly comfortable with adults and professional video gamers.
I thought that was gone.
I think it's just a stigma of laziness.
Yeah, no, I remember all the stigmas and what it meant at one point or another. You were a dork, you were lazy, you didn't have a real life or a real job, but I thought
On social media, girls are leaning more towards dudes that are gamers because their reason is because you know where they are on a Friday and Saturday night.
Josh and I will blast this taboo into a million pieces, talking about hemorrhoids.
What?
Hemorrhoids, they say, you should be able to discuss them openly just as you would talk about tendinitis.
I didn't know this was such a big problem.
Oh, I remember my uncles, one in particular, talking about hemorrhoids when we were kids, and just everybody's laughing, right? We're all making fun of them, and lo and behold, it's karma. It got me right in the butt. Literally, it got me right in the butt.
Hemorrhoids. One of my dad's oldest buddies, that's what he called us when we were little kids. You little hemorrhoids. He also called us dildo breath. Just for the record.
I remember what we were talking about the movie E.T. the other day. When they said penis breath in there, I cried laughing for a week and a half. I'd never heard that before.
And finally, here in this report on taboos that we as a society need to do away with. Enough with the bidets. We get it. Bidets are popular. Bidets. That's all it is today. Marijuana and bidets. And hating Nickelback. That's all it is. But bidets makes the list. How great they are. You need to use one on your ass. Okay,
Yeah.
we get it. It's the hip new thing.
Not a fan.
Half-assed morning show 93X.
Absolutely wonderful. We're getting there here on this beautiful Thursday morning. One more day tomorrow. We'll have dad fights tomorrow and everything. Before we get out of here, we were talking about all folks online. We're discussing societal taboos. Taboos from society that need to be done away with. We covered a lot of different things. What do you think about this one sent in by Gravy Crockett Jesus? He says, we need to ditch the expectation of dudes to pay on the first date. It's BS. Us kings need to be taken out and treated too.
I think it depends who asks for the date.
Is that right?
Yep, they should be the one paying. If you invited them out, you pay.
Have you ever asked a guy out and then took him out and paid for airthin?
Yes, sir.
How did it go?
Went well.
Did you guys have sex? I'm kidding. That's none of my business.
That is very personal question.
That's very, overly personal. Overtly.
We've mentioned this one before. Insomniac Jesus, masturbating privately, not down by the bus stop, has gotten more acceptable than in the past. Yeah,
yeah, that's very true.
I mean, and which shocks me. I mean, just because of how different it was growing up. Taboo. Like, you never wanted anybody to know. I mean,
No.
we've talked about it before. It would ruin your life. I've seen people's lives ruined for doing what everybody else did, and they're the ones that got caught, or else somebody just started a rumor about it.
Right.
It is weird how that's just so out in the open at this point.
And I never knew it any other way, really.
Well, I thought you said it was taboo when you were...
Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't. Masturbating?
Yeah.
No. In high school, it was openly
was it?
talked about. It was openly talked
Yeah,
about.
they were open about it at Dana's high school.
Except, okay, I should say, though, for the dudes it was, but for the girls in school, there would be like a rumor that would start that this girl does it, and you'd be like, oh, she's gross!
Oh,
It's that
yeah.
stupid double standard.
I remember that.
You said she's gross? I would have fallen instantly in love with that girl in high school. I would have thought that was the most beautiful, sexiest thing in the whole world. All right, not to go back to money, because you guys know money is one of my least favorite topics, but we were talking also in this list of taboos from society. This one really grabbed my attention. You should be able to ask someone what they make, a coworker, in order to try to keep things fair. Okay, I understand the strategy behind that, but I could just never bring myself to just flat out ask someone, how much money do you make? That kind of thing disgusts me. We covered that already. But speaking of money, real quick, you want to know how much money you need these days to consider yourself rich?
No.
Yeah, I don't want to hear this.
I'll tell you, by God, I will. According to a new survey from some folks that call themselves Modern Wealth, Americans consider themselves wealthy if they have. Anyone want to guess? I would
2.2 million. That's my uneducated, didn't read the article yet guess.
Shot in the dark, throwing a dart against the wall.
I would have been terrible at guessing this because outside of what we're constantly bombed with, we are constantly bombed with how much athletes and entertainers make, aren't we?
Yes.
This athlete makes $400 million.
Well, and people really want to know. Right? I mean, that's like a whole topic for people. They want to know exactly what people are making.
I mean, and obviously, I'm not completely moronic. I know that an airline pilot likely makes more than a guy who sells beer at a liquor store, right? But I would have been terrible at guessing this number, which Josh is correct, 2.2 million, because as I've explained before, money has just been something that has never been on my mind at any point in my life. Not because I've never needed it, by God. That's certainly not the truth. I just don't care. I just don't care. I would have had no idea what Americans would have answered when asked, how much money do you need to be considered rich?
I'd consider myself wealthy if I could pay all of my bills and still afford to go on a vacation a year.
And so, you know what? That's what a lot of people said.
Yeah.
That it's not necessarily 2.2 million. I mean, there's a lot of things. How do you define wealth?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
not
true.
always just how many zeros you got in your bank account.
There you go.
Like how
There you
free
go.
you are was more than anything.
Yeah, no debt kind of thing.
Yep.
This particular report said Americans consider themselves wealthy if they have an average of 2.2 million in assets, which includes cash, property, cars, and what they call here bling.
Love that they threw that in there.
There you go. A couple years ago, I guess, we needed 2.6 million to consider ourselves rich. It's down to 2.2, if that means anything to you at all. They surveyed 1,000 random people between the ages of 21 to 75. But, like Josh just said, how do you measure wealth? Almost half of the people surveyed said they already feel wealthy, even though they're well below 2.2 million.
Tree Master Jesus, he's going to tell us how many zeros he has in his bank account, and he has just 1 0.
You see how you are? We got to get out of here.
Shout out to Cott and the boys, headed up to Danbury for the 4-day bachelor party extravaganza they got going on. That is from your best man, Devin. Congratulations to Steel Eye Jesus and his wife, Morgan. They gave us a new addition to the sisterhood this morning at 6:49 a.m. Happy birthday to Charlotte, a.k.a. Charlotte Jesus from Alcoholic Jesus. Happy 50th to Nicole from the family. I'm not a towel, you're a towel, Jesus. Sent in a happy birthday to his wife, Miss Towley Jesus. And before we go, now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text the word FIGHTS, F-I-G-H-T-S, FIGHTS, to 651-989-9393 for a shot to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Booze Cruise next Friday in Stillwater, June 30th. Furnished by Stillwater Riverboats, sponsored by Anytime Bail Bonds.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.